Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Great Voyage. Let you play cubes, you dig through the upside-down mountain. Chapter 41. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Before, Jool Lyn obviously didn't know how to put on a weapon, but it's only been a few days since he saw him, but he suddenly knows how to do it, and he's so proficient. How did he do it? Even though I am such a genius, I haven't learned it yet, and this fool is only about 20 years old. Why did he do it? Could it be that he was hiding his clumsiness when he was in Mignon Island? But how could such a thing be accepted? Ah, cube boy, I must kill you today. Doflamingo shouted loudly, turned around and rushed towards Jool Lyn, kicked out leg shave string, but was easily blocked by Jool Lyn. The current Jool Lyn is very powerful, as if he is not the same person as he was in Mignon Island before, and he fights easily and freely, as if playing Doflamingo. This made Doflamingo even more angry, and the attack became more and more crazy. Leg shave string, 5 color strings, bullet string. Doflamingo used all his tricks, but Jool Lyn dealt with it casually. Not only was he not injured, he didn't even wrinkle his clothes, but he never fought back, as if it was intentional. Yes, it was on purpose. Jool Lyn wants to beat Doflamingo mentally. So Jool Lyn stretched out his thumb and index finger to make a 1 centimeter gesture. It seems that I am a billion points stronger than you. This insulting mental blow made Doflamingo furious, and his moves became crazy, but now he is not as strong as Conqueror's hockey 10 years later, and his fruit ability has not awakened, so he can't hurt Jool Lyn at all. Jool Lyn couldn't help but sigh with emotion. He didn't expect that after absorbing the Golden Lion's skills, he could be so strong. Golden Lion did not die unjustly, his contribution is really too great. Jool Lyn also took time to look down at the battle, and found that Bonus was struggling to deal with several cadres of the Don Quixote Pirates. Although Bonus was able to use armament hockey, one-to-many still suffered a bit. Especially when Toripal, the snotty man, also shot. Bonus was even more passive. The snot-nosed man will be hockey, and Bonus is no match yet. So Jool Lyn forced Doflamingo back casually, then raised his foot and kicked out a Tempest kick slash, which directly swept away the silk thread binding Burr, and Burr was also liberated. Burr looked at Jool Lyn. He didn't expect that the pirate who made him unable to move was being teased by this man. How strong should this person be? Jool Lyn smiled and said, "Don't help, don't you want to beat up these pirates?" Burr reacted immediately, "Okay. Watch me kill these fools." As he spoke, he thumped his chest and rushed into the battle circle like a King Kong. His boxing skills also became crazy, and he successfully shared part of Bonus's pressure. However, Don Quixote still had too many cadres, and the combination of Bonus plus Burr quickly fell into a disadvantage again. Jool Lyn smiled and didn't bother. This is a battle that belongs to Bonus, and Jool Lyn's intervention will only limit Bonus's growth, so as long as Bonus is not dead, it is fine. Let Bonus toss. Then, Jool Lyn concentrated on dealing with Doflamingo. It's just that Jool Lyn could kill the flamingo in seconds, but he never did. Doflamingo knows some secrets of celestial dragons, and likes to use it as a bargaining chip to negotiate with 5 elders, and also likes to make troubles everywhere. Such a person is very precious, and Jool Lyn doesn't want to kill it now. Save the Doflamingo for good use in the future. Using such a person, Jool Lyn will not have any psychological burden. However, Jool Lyn wants the heavenly gold and golden fruit. Seeing that Doflamingo made another leg shave string attack, Jool Lyn stretched out his hand to open the stinky foot, and then punched Doflamingo directly in the face. It didn't knock people into the air, but knocked them into a dizzy state. Then Jool Lyn reached into Doflamingo's arms, took out the golden fruit, and then patched Doflamingo's kick, kicking him flying. Boom! Doflamingo slammed right back onto his own pirate ship. Fortunately, the deck was strong, and Jool Lyn was merciful, so Doflamingo didn't smash the boat and fall into the sea. However, the damage of this kick was not low, and it directly made Doflamingo vomit blood, and his whole face turned pale. Doflamingo also came to his senses at this time, clutching his chest and staring at Jool Lyn. His gaze was still on the golden fruit in Jool Lyn's hand for a second, then he looked away with difficulty. He had the idea of retreating in his heart. Yes, although he is crazy, he doesn't want to watch the family die. Now that he has seen that he is no match for Jool Lyn, if he continues to fight, the Don Quixote family will be gone, and his dream of being the hegemon will come to naught. So, for the sake of the future, let's run away first. Revenge is a small matter, but survival is a major matter. Only by surviving and becoming stronger in the future can we really take revenge. Dover, are you okay? Torrebel and the others were very worried. They gave up fighting one after another, and quickly returned to Doflamingo. And Bonus and Burr immediately followed, looking eagerly. Doflamingo immediately said, "We are not opponents, retreat immediately." The cadres were not reconciled, but they also saw that the situation was not right, and they also obeyed the master's words, and did not dare to delay at all. While guarding against Jool Lyn, they set up a boat-like sailing far away. Seeing that Jool Lyn hadn't done anything, all members of the Don Quixote family were secretly relieved. Bonus glanced at his boss and found that the boss was not moving, so he also put away his fighting stance. Burr didn't want to let the Don Quixote pirates go, but seeing that Jool Lyn and Bonus had no intention of chasing and killing them, he could only give up with regret. Fortunately, Tiantianjin kept it. "Thank you for your help, Burr is very grateful." Burr immediately thanked. "Hee, don't rush to thank me, I'm not a good person." Jool Lyn smiled, seeing that the Don Quixote pirates had run far away, he immediately flew to the ship, turning all the ships and the gold in the sky into small cubes and put them away. Burr immediately frowned. "It turns out that you, like those pirates, are here to grab the gold in the sky. Leave the things to me, or I won't care about saving my life." Bonus immediately turned his hand into a sharp knife and put it on Burr's shoulder. Even if he was a friend who fought side by side just now, he would not be polite if he dared to speak to his boss like this. Jool Lyn smiled and waved his hand and said, "Burr, don't worry, let me have a good chat with you, and I will let you know that your approach is wrong. Only by following me can you really save Cape Kingdom of Franch." As he spoke, he manipulated the cube, and flew towards Cape Franch with Bonus and Burr. Jool Lyn wants to popularize new ideas for Burr, let Burr truly awaken, and then join the revolutionary cause. In a certain sea area, the big ship of the Don Quixote pirates is slowly moving forward. Everyone on board remains silent, looking like a defeated rooster, with anger and unwillingness flashing in their eyes. The original plan was very smooth, and Doflamingo also successfully obtained the place of Shichibukai, but everything was destroyed by the big enemy who killed Pika. What's even more hateful is that they can't beat this big enemy. In the end, he could only run away in despair, like a lost dog. "Dover, what is Cube Boy's intention to let us go?" Torrebel said. "Who knows what that fool is thinking?" Doflamingo suppressed his anger, but he smiled back, "Yeah. I want Cube Boy to know what a wrong decision it was to let go of our Don Quixote family today. As long as I don't die, I will be able to take revenge one day, and I will let he regret it to die." "Young master, what do you say? We will listen to you." The cadres shared the same hatred. "Okay, let's enter the new world quickly, speed up our country building plan, increase our business in the underground world, and try to cooperate with the bosses of the new world. Hey, I want to be the king of the underground world." On the other side, Mariajoy. The 5 elders were sitting together, looking at each other silently. Obviously promised to give Doflamingo a Shichibukai quota before, but Doflamingo immediately called again to say that the gold in the sky was robbed by Cube Boy. Are you kidding them? He was so arrogant when negotiating with Heavenly Gold as a bargaining chip, but he didn't expect to be handsome for only a minute. I thought this guy was so powerful, that's it. 5 elders did not doubt that Doflamingo made up such a lie because he wanted to get rich, because this matter could not stand the investigation, and the lie would only anger 5 elders, and the consequences would be serious. So, the gold in the sky was really robbed by Cube Boy. Just in this way, will Shichibukai's spot be returned to Doflamingo? That's the problem. Then after some discussions, the result was that Doflamingo was still appointed as one of the Shichibukai. This was to prevent Doflamingo from robbing other countries of the sky. As for Cube Boy Jool Lyn, ask Marine to step up his arrest and snatch back that batch of heavenly gold. Sure enough, people have to be treated differently. No matter what, Doflamingo is a former celestial dragons, and Jool Lyn has no background relationship, so 5 elders naturally prefer Doflamingo. It also happens that Shichibukai's quota is not full yet, and Doflamingo's strength is not bad, just right. As for Cube Kid, this guy dug through Upside Down Mountain without his consent, which was stolen from Celestial Dragon's property, so he's a criminal. Tell Marine to catch him quickly, or just kill him. Marine immediately received the 5 elders' order. Sengoku looked at the order and related information, and couldn't help but have a headache for a while. He didn't expect that when he was vigorously cleaning the new world, such a thing would happen in the first half of the Grand Line. It really didn't stop at all. Especially this Cube Kid, he can really cause trouble. It's so annoying. Everyone, take a look and tell us what you think. Sengoku distributed the order and information. The senior management of Marine looked at it quickly, and they all looked at each other for a while. No wonder Sengoku has a headache, this is annoying. HMPH. How can you agree to such a thing? The Don Quixote pirates dare to rob the sky, they are vicious criminals, how can Doflamingo become Shichibukai? Akainu was the first to object. Agreed, Doflamingo should not be appointed as Shichibukai. Aokiji and Akainu rarely agreed. I listen to my superiors. Kizaru doesn't care. Crane Vice Admiral didn't say a word, in fact she didn't agree in her heart. She hunted the Don Quixote pirates in North Blue for so long, she knew better than anyone how many crimes the Don Quixote pirates had committed. There are countless dirty deals in the underground world alone, and how many people, families, and countries have suffered as a result. If 5 elders hadn't stopped it, she would have arrested Doflamingo and sent him to jail. Now, Doflamingo dares to rob the sky of gold, and also uses it as a bargaining chip to trade with 5 elders. How can such a vicious guy let him be a Shichibukai? And I don't know what the 5 elders think. Tomorrow, the gold medal will be snatched away by Cube Boy, so why continue to give the Shichibukai spot to Doflamingo? This is not reasonable at all. It's just that Crane Vice Admiral didn't choose to speak. She knew that 5 elders' orders could not be disobeyed. Even though Sengoku had a headache, she could only follow the orders. Yes, the 5 elders are giving orders, not consulting with Marine. Unless Sengoku doesn't intend to take over as marshal, he will openly oppose the 5 elders' orders. Garp, what do you think? Sengoku could only ask this carefree old comrade. Ha 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 ha. The old man thinks that some people are out of their minds and give orders to Marine when they don't even know what to do. Garp was as rebellious as ever. Garp, be careful what you say. The old man is right. It is Doflamingo who grabs the gold from the sky. Since the 5 elders have reached a deal with Doflamingo, then Doflamingo can just return the gold from the sky. How can it be so complicated? But, now the gold in the sky is in the hands of Cube Kid. Sengoku, why are you confused? You said that Doflamingo is the one who grabs the gold. What does it have to do with Cube Boy? Cube Kid just robbed Doflamingo. This is not the same thing as Doflamingo not paying back the gold. If you say that, it seems to be right. Sengoku reacted. Garp really has a clear mind, and his understanding is different from others. What Garp means is that Marine is okay with appointing Doflamingo as Shichibukai, and is okay with ramping up the arrest of Cube Kid, but Marine is not in charge of chasing Revolving Heaven Gold. Because Doflamingo has already promised to return the heavenly gold, it has nothing to do with whether he was robbed or who was robbed. 5 elders' commands only need to be heard halfway. In this way, the opposition within Marine will not be so serious, and it is not considered disobedience, and Sengoku will not have such a headache. As expected of an old comrade in arms, this idea is very good. Sengoku immediately fed back this opinion to Kong, hoping that the old leader who is about to be the commander-in-chief of the whole army can help to say something. Kong was also a little confused when he heard it at first, but it seemed right after thinking about it carefully, so he, who loves his subordinates, immediately gave feedback to 5 elders. 5 elders was taken aback after hearing this, but after thinking about it carefully, it seemed right. So, 5 elders contacted Doflamingo immediately, and he was dumbfounded by Doflamingo. After hanging up the phone, the veins on Doflamingo's forehead kept popping. My lord, what does 5 elders mean? We want to pay back the gold in the sky. Laoji has not yet reacted. Yes, we want to pay it back. Doflamingo gritted his teeth. But didn't the gold in the sky be robbed by Cube Boy? 5 elders means that the content of the transaction is to appoint me as Shichibukai, I will return the heavenly gold, and I must fulfill the transaction contract. As for whether I was robbed or who was robbed, they will not care, let alone recover that batch of heavenly gold. Ah, this. The cadres were dumbfounded, and they didn't expect that the roundabouts would fall on them again. Just in this way, wouldn't it be cheaper for Cube Kid? Doflamingo's face was even more sinister. He probably guessed why Jool Lyn made a move after he grabbed the gold from the sky, because the nature was completely different. It's taboo to grab the gold from the sky, but it's okay to grab Doflamingo. What a great idea. Dover, what should we do then? Even if we want to snatch the revolving heaven gold from Cube Boy, we can't beat him. Torebel also looked embarrassed. This time, we admit it. Doflamingo can bend and stretch, isn't it just money? This position of Shichibukai should be bought with money. However, we can't make Cube Boy so easy. Let's announce to the sea that Cube Kid has heavenly gold, especially for New World. The bosses are blowing more. I can't believe that no one is not tempted by this money. I have to say that Doflamingo is really scheming. He didn't get any benefits this time, but he could kill people with a borrowed knife. The amount of gold in the sky is huge, and celestial dragons are generally not to be messed with, but now Jool Lyn holds the gold in his hand. That is, a 3-year-old kid is strutting around the market with gold bricks. At that time, many people will definitely fight against Jool Lyn. Moreover, the news about Doflamingo's loss this time will also spread, and those big pirates will not be afraid to offend celestial dragons by snatching the heavenly gold in Jool Lyn's hands. Because it's not the celestial dragons they're grabbing, it's the cube guys. Well, this logic can be used like this. At this time, Jool Lyn didn't know that he was being targeted in this way. He took Bonus and Burr to stop over the kingdom of Cape Franch, and the three looked down at the island country. Burr, look carefully. Jool Lyn pointed down and said, look, the place where the royal family and the nobles live is magnificent, and they also hoard a lot of money and food, and they are all high above. If you look at the civilian area, the huts and wooden houses are crumbling, and the common people can't eat. With enough food, one by one lives like livestock, with no eyesight, no hope at all. Burr stared blankly at the distinct kingdom below, opened his mouth but was speechless. How could he not know the situation in this country when he was the captain of the guard in Cape Franch? He often goes to civilian areas to communicate with the citizens. He often sees the gap between up and down, oppression and exploitation. He wants to change these, but he doesn't know how to do it. Why? Why are people from the same country? Some people live high and some live poorly. Do you think this is right? Do you think it should be like this? Jool Lyn asked suddenly. This. Burr was still speechless. No, it shouldn't be. Jool Lyn said loudly, the same people, all people should be born equal, even if they live in different ways, there should be no exploitation and oppression. People's rich life should be obtained through labor, not by sucking the fruits of other people's labor. Only in this way can the people truly live and work in peace and contentment, and the country can prosper and prosper. Burr was shocked when he heard the words, and couldn't help muttering, born equal. There should be no exploitation and oppression. After a long time, Burr realized that he suddenly looked at Jool Lyn. His eyes seemed to have changed. Why are you telling me this? Burr clenched his fists, and an idea came to his mind. Of course I think you are a good person, and I want to take you to save this country. Jool Lyn replied firmly. How to save? Of course, it is to overthrow these royal families and nobles who exploit the people and establish a new regime. Let Cape Franch no longer have any royal families and nobles in his kingdom. Everyone is just a citizen and everyone is equal. Can this be done? Of course, I promise you, I will save this country, and everything I want to do to this country will be open and transparent to you. If you think it is right, you can do it with me, and if you think it is wrong, come and beat me. Quote. Okay, I'll follow you. It's such a happy decision. Jool Lyn showed a smile, and stretched out his hand to Burr, who also quickly reached out to shake his hand. Then, Jool Lyn took Bonus and Burr to a nearby desert island first, and some things still need to be discussed carefully before they start to act. After all, it is necessary to take action against a country, and the seizure of power must be done quickly, and the actions after success must be determined first. Jool Lyn quickly talked about the plan he had conceived before, and wanted Burr to help him refer to it and fix it, but he didn't expect that Burr just listened to his superiors and could not give other suggestions. This made Jool Lyn laugh out loud. This guy has some strength, but his brain is not very smart. It seems that after taking Frank Capet, we should choose some trustworthy and smart people to join in. Otherwise, if all the problems of governing the country are piled up on Jool Lyn will be bored to death. Still, Burr was fully into the action. The next step is to act quickly. In the early morning of the next day, the kingdom of Cape Franch woke up under the sun, and the common people began to be busy with their work. The royal family and nobles are still asleep, and only the servants who serve them need to get up early to do housework, waiting for them to get up and enjoy. It's just that no one noticed that the pier guard who was dozing off had been knocked to the ground. Jool Lyn, Bonus and Burr stood on the pier and began the operation to seize the power of Cape Franch. Jool Lyn slapped the ground, and creepers popped out of the ground immediately, but the air cubes in these creepers were not powerful, and the explosion would not cause casualties. Not long after, the number of creepers reached 1,000, densely packed towards the interior of the island. The civilians who had just gone out to work suddenly showed panic, but quickly calmed down when they saw Captain Burr following behind the creeper. Burr waved to the people. "You all go home first today, and you can come with me, don't work, and you will welcome a new life soon." Creepers marched mightily towards the aristocratic area and the royal palace. Jool Lyn, Bonus and Burr followed silently. The originally numb citizens seemed to realize what Burr was going to do. Some showed fear, but most of them had flames burning in their eyes. After being oppressed for a long time, the flame of resistance has long been ignited in my heart. Now Burr, the captain of the guard who cared the most for the people on weekdays, has embarked on the road of resistance, which undoubtedly added fuel to the fire, causing the fire of resistance of the people to rise directly. Many young and middle-aged men walked out of the crowd directly, and their voices became sonorous and powerful. "Captain Burr, take us." Bolton showed a smile. "Okay. Those who are willing to come together, follow behind. Today, we will defeat all these devils who suck the blood of our people and establish a new Cape Franchise kingdom." "Oh," many citizens echoed loudly, and their voices reached the sky. "Anyway, he has already been squeezed to the point where he can no longer survive, so it would be better to turn against the royal family of Robert. And everyone's most trusted Captain Burr has made it so clear that if he doesn't choose to follow, he will continue to be a livestock until he dies in the future. So stand up and take down the vampires. Create new countries." At this time, a white-haired old man came to Burr surrounded by a group of people. Burr immediately showed respect. "Mr. Roman, you are here." Roman's cloudy eyes burst into light. "Burr, are you really ready? You must know that Cape Franch is a member of the world government, and the royal family of Robert and the nobles are protected by the world government. Once we to overthrow Robert's regime, the marine and world government may come to destroy us." But Burr turned sideways and gave Jool Lyn the main seat. "Mr. Roman, fellow citizens, this is the leader I want to follow, Mr. Jool Lyn." Everyone was shocked. Although I was curious about the identities of the two people around Burr just now, I always thought they were the people who followed Burr. I just didn't expect that Captain Burr was following this young man. "What on earth is it?" Burr continued. "Boss Jool Lyn, this is Mr. Roman, a wise man among the people. The people will follow Mr. Roman's advice, and most of the conflicts between the people and the nobles are mediated by Mr. Roman." Jool Lyn looked at Roman with a smile on his face, as if he wanted to see through the old man. Regarding the old man Roman, Burr has already said to Jool Lyn. Jool Lyn wanted to see if this old man was trustworthy, whether he really represented the interests of the people, and whether he was really wise. If so, then the future development of the country will naturally be inseparable from this old man. Roman looked directly at Jool Lyn. "So Mr. Jool Lyn, what's your answer?" The old man was very persistent, and he was asking for answers. If Jool Lyn can't give a good answer, he will not allow the nationals to follow the risk, and will discourage Burr. Jool Lyn said, "Mr. Roman, I am the criminal who was offered a reward of 55 million Baileys by Marine, Cube Boy Jool Lyn. Crime, criminal. Today, I, a criminal, attacked Cape Franch, captured all the royal family and nobles of this country, and took away all the wealth. The citizens of this country have no choice but to take the 19-year-old prince, Robert Wayne, took the throne and formed a cabinet to lead the development of the country. What do you think, sir?" This. Roman understood, and the light in his eyes shone even more. "I have to say that Jool Lyn's method is very good. What Roman was worried about was that after overthrowing Robert's regime, he would be targeted by the world government, but what Jool Lyn meant was to overthrow all the royal family and nobles, leaving only a child of the royal family as a puppet king to deal with the world government. On the surface, the country still belongs to the royal family of Robert, but in fact it is led by the newly formed cabinet. And the candidates for the cabinet are undoubtedly selected from the people who are the most trustworthy and capable, and lead the country on behalf of the people's interests. The country can establish a new regime without being targeted by the world government. The people can get rid of the life of being enslaved and squeezed, and usher in a new life completely. So, why not? Roman trembled all over, but reached out and grabbed Burr's wrist tightly. Burr, tell me a word, can this Mr. Jool Lyn really be trusted? Burr nodded without hesitation. I think it is possible to believe it. And I have to believe it. Because the boss Jool Lyn can really destroy the Cape franchise kingdom by himself, and there is no need to discuss it with us, but now he is willing to cooperate with us, isn't he still is it trustworthy? Do we have anything to plot? Yes, the people of Cape France are poor and have nothing, what can they do? Do you want to sell all the citizens into slavery? But looking at the square man who is advancing ahead, it seems to be the ability of this person. They can capture everyone by violence. Why bother to explain it to you? And this kind of life has long been unbearable. It is better to follow this Mr. Jool Lyn, follow the trustworthy Burr to resist. Once you succeed, you will be able to usher in a new life. Even if you fail, you can still die vigorously. Roman immediately raised his voice and said, okay. Citizens of Cape Franch, today we will rebel against leader Jool Lyn. Defeat the vampires and establish a new kingdom. Down with the vampire. Build a new kingdom. Oh. This time, the whole nation echoed loudly. Now there is nothing to be afraid of. Under the leadership of the wise man Roman and Captain Burr, follow the leader Jool Lyn to overthrow the royal family of Robert. As a result, nearly 10,000 Cape Francs and their citizens followed the Creeper army and killed them in the direction of the palace. Many citizens also ran home to get sickles, harpoons and other tools, and many people took hemp ropes and straw ropes according to Jool Lyn's instructions, and some even tore thatch from their own huts to rub. Now that they are all in rebellion, why keep these dilapidated houses? Let's all contribute to grass rope. Not long after, the army of creepers reached the noble area, and the guards in charge of patrolling were shocked when they saw this, and retreated repeatedly with their weapons in hand. Burr yelled, surrender quickly if you are sensible, otherwise don't blame us for being rude. The guards were dumbfounded. Captain Burr. What is the captain going to do? What are these things? And why are they bringing so many untouchables? Untouchables. It seems that these guards are not good things. So Jool Lyn controlled the creeper to pounce on the guards, knocking them down one by one. Some guards immediately resisted, but the creepers were basically made of stone, so they didn't suffer much damage when the knife was cut on them, and the knife was shaken away. Some stronger ones could also smash the creepers, but the creepers exploded on the spot, directly causing minor injuries. Jool Lyn didn't want to kill casually. After all, not everyone deserved to die. So the explosion power of the air cube in the creeper's body was not very strong, it could only injure people. Then, the exhausted guards were tied up by the citizens. Even the guards couldn't stop the creepers, and the nobles and servants couldn't stop them even more. It didn't take long for the glamorous nobles to be dragged out of the luxurious houses, tied up and thrown on the side of the road, and guarded by citizens with sickles and harpoons. The nobles were stunned. They didn't expect this group of untouchables to dare to rebel. Then there was endless anger, roaring wildly at the citizens, but what greeted them were the citizens' slaps and fists. It's okay to show off your might and ride on the heads of the people on weekdays, but now you still can't recognize the reality, and you still have that high-spirited face, it's ridiculous. And the citizens immediately reacted when they saw the nobleman who had been beaten so miserably by him. It turns out that nobles are not as powerful as imagined. Even if they are rich and powerful, and protected by strong guards, they are just ordinary people, even weaker than ordinary people. It only takes a little force from farmers and fishermen to stun or even kill them directly. So, no need to be afraid of nobles. Being oppressed and exploited in the past seemed like a joke. Why didn't we think of resisting before? Obviously the nobles are just paper tigers, but we took the initiative to bend down to accept the oppression. Even the spine is bent down. But now, the nobles and even the royal family will be defeated, and this country will usher in a new life. Everyone is equal in the new country, there will be no more royal families, no nobles, and everything will be fine. Soon, the army of creepers and the army of the people surrounded the palace, and the palace guards were quickly defeated. However, King Robert Wallin got the news and wanted to run away with his concubine, prince, and princess take the wealth inside the palace. However, the Robert family are all scumbags with zero combat effectiveness, how could they escape? As a result, he was naturally captured by the citizens. Robert Wallin roared angrily, "I am the king of Cape Franch, and I am the person protected by the world government. If you dare to attack me, what awaits you will be doomsday. Burr, you ungrateful guy, I value you so much. You, even let you escort the gold in the sky, but now you bring this group of untouchables to rebel against me, the world government will not let you go. You and this group of untouchables deserve to die." Hee, I didn't know that my death was imminent, but I was still screaming and scolding. Burr, Roman and all the citizens showed murderous looks, wishing to beat the king to death. Jool Lyn stood up as a leader, single out the most heinous people, read the crimes in front of all citizens, and then carry out public executions. As for other criminals, I have a way to make them obedient and make them work for the development of the country. Death is too cheap for them. The citizens naturally did not object. People who commit the most heinous crimes must die, and public execution is a must. And the treatment of other sinners is also very rational, neither intends to kill nor let them go, let the sinners work and contribute to the country. Now, many people began to understand the character of the leader Jool Lyn. First as a powerful person, then not a bloodthirsty person, and finally a person full of wisdom. It is really a blessing for the nation that such a person can be the leader of Cape Franch. Anyway, Burr and Roman are convinced. Things went very smoothly. The citizens singled out King Robert Wallin and other heinous people. Roman personally read the crimes of these people, and then Burr personally sent them on the road. It was only when Robert Wallin was led to the execution platform that he finally realized that he was afraid, and he was so scared that he wet his pants on the spot. Just listen to him repeatedly begging for mercy, Don't kill me. I was wrong, I shouldn't exploit the people, I shouldn't treat the people like livestock, please give me another chance, I will be a good king. Mr. Roman, it's the wise man of Cape Franch, please save me. Burr, for the sake of using you, please spare my life. Hee, it's all over, and he still wants to continue to be the king. What's more, the originally high-ranking king can't even beg for mercy, how ugly. The citizens finally began to wake up, and everyone found that the royal family was not terrible, but timid, cowardly, and ugly, and the citizens were enslaved by such people for so long, it was like a joke. Well now, Robert's dynasty is completely over. As Burr's sword fell, the head of King Robert Wallin flew up, and Frank Capet ushered in a new life. Other royal families and nobles were stripped of their glamorous coats and forced to put on coarse linen clothes. They were also imprisoned, waiting for their fate to be reformed through labor. And the citizens didn't react for a while. Perhaps he did not expect that rebellion would be so easy. But it's normal to think about it carefully, because the royal family and nobles in this country have long been corrupted, and they have lost the support of the majority of the people. It is only natural that they are overthrown. Coupled with Jool Lyn's personal attack, no one can stop it, and things will naturally become much easier. Of course, the main reason is that this country is relatively small, and its territory is basically just an island, so it is easier to operate. If you switch to Alabasta, it will definitely not be so easy. Only then did Roman take the time to ask, Chief Jool Lyn, it seems that Vorian failed to contact the world government and Marine with the phone bug, what's going on? Jool Lyn smiled and pointed to the sky, see for yourself, since I'm going to do something, how can I let the news leak out? Roman subconsciously looked up and was startled. I saw that the whole island seemed to be covered by a huge transparent block, that is to say, it was made by Jool Lyn, who directly blocked the signal with the block ability. In this way, the kingdom of Cape Franch can be said to have completed the coup without the knowledge of outsiders. Really great. Roman was very excited, and looked at Jool Lyn with reverence. Everyone says I am a wise man, but you are the real wise man, the leader. You have considered all the unfavorable factors and solved them easily. Frank Capet can with your leadership, it will definitely get better and better. Jool Lyn just waved his hands, not caring about Roman's praise. He's just copying Doflamingo's birdcage, and it works pretty well. Now that the changes in Cape Franchise have not been noticed by anyone, this window period must be seized to stabilize the kingdom as soon as possible. However, what Jool Lyn is most worried about is that various forces will come to snatch the heavenly gold in his hands. If Kaido and Dama come to grab it in person, it will definitely be a hard fight. Next, it is natural to move out all the food in the palace and noble mansions, so that the citizens can have a good meal. When the delicious meat dishes were delivered to their mouths, many people couldn't help crying. Then she cried and cried, but couldn't help laughing again. Crying is because all hardships are rewarding, and laughing is also because all hardships are rewarding. In the future, I will no longer be hungry like before, and not only can eat meat, but also be full. The future is full of hope. And Jool Lyn also directly took out the heavenly gold that he had snatched back after the citizens were full. Hosted by Roman and Burr, the heavenly gold was returned to all the citizens, and Jool Lyn's reputation directly reached its peak. For the people, the gold in the sky these days is their blood and sweat. Originally, they were very reluctant to be forced to give it to the celestial dragons, but they had to do so in order to survive. Now Jool Lyn has snatched back the heavenly gold and returned it to them, then Jool Lyn is their hero. It is natural to support heroes and become leaders. In addition, the wealth of the royal family and nobles will also be collected for statistics, and some of it will be returned to the people, and the rest will naturally be used as the treasury for the development of the country. But this is something to be done later, and everything must be done step by step, so don't rush it. In the next few days, nominated by Roman and Burr, plus the votes of the citizens, the 5 most trustworthy and capable citizens were selected as representatives, and together with Roman and Burr, they formed a 7-member cabinet. The cabinet represents the interests of the people and serves the people and the country, not an institution with privileges. Once the cabinet becomes a privilege, the nationals oust cabinet members and elect new representatives to form a new cabinet. As for the new king, Robert Wayne, he is just a child who inherits Robert's bloodline and knows nothing, and acts as a puppet king to deal with the world government. Of course, Cape Franch's coup will remain secret for the time being. Many things need to be dealt with quickly so that the country can stabilize quickly so that it can cope with the changes that may occur next. Afterwards, the cabinet put forward Cape Franchise's new national policy after holding a meeting to discuss and adopting the opinions and feedbacks of the people. Establish democracy, eliminate exploitation, put people first, and distribute according to work. In addition, there are many national policies and laws that must be promulgated one by one. In short, everything is going on in an orderly manner, and all troubles may be encountered, but they will be resolved smoothly soon. Don't look at the numbness of these citizens before, it was formed due to long-term oppression, and now some people are awakening and starting to be the masters of their own country, so they will naturally actively contribute to their own country. Jool Lyn was quite happy watching the country start to flourish. It was just a coincidence that he chose to attack this country at the beginning. Because Doflamingo chose to attack the country's heavenly gold, and Jool Lyn stared at Doflamingo, and indirectly let Jool Lyn understand the situation of this country. As Jool Lyn thought before, the state of the country is too handsome for a coup d'état. Since Drago hasn't started to act yet, he doesn't mind doing it first, and it can be done quietly but quickly. In the end, Jool Lyn couldn't hold back. The result is of course good, but what follows is the key. Whether Cape Franch and its new kingdom can withstand the storms of the sea can only wait and see. Burr came to the pier at this time, looked at the figure sitting on the midair cube. His eyes were full of reverence, and the corner of his mouth couldn't help grinning. He didn't expect to experience so many things in just a few days. From the despair when he was robbed by the Don Quixote pirates, to the ardor when he followed Jool Lyn, to the result of successfully capturing the regime of Cape Franch, everything is like a dream. But this is not a dream, it is real. Listening to the continuous laughter from the island, Burr was very grateful that he had made the right choice. Boss Jool Lyn, I'm here to report to you. Burr jumped to sit next to Jool Lyn, and said carefreely, the recruitment of the guards is going very smoothly now, and the young and strong are very active. There are even many children who are not yet old and some elderly people want to join. Jool Lyn hooked the corner of his lips, it proves that everyone really wants to protect their own country. Ha ha ha, what the boss said is true, but it is impossible to agree to those who do not meet the standards. Now in 2 days, a total of 800 healthy and strong soldiers have been recruited. Now they are undergoing formation training. I believe that they will become excellent guards in the near future. Military. Well done, the national defense is all in your hands. Don't worry, boss, it's absolutely fine to leave it to me. Burr is very confident. He used to be the captain of the guard, leading a group of guards who fished for the emperor's food and could defend the country, not to mention that the guards recruited now are all enthusiastic citizens. Defense forces will only get stronger than before. How about other aspects? Jool Lyn asked again. Naturally, it went very well. Burr continued to report, Mr. Roman is very good at organizing the people. Now he is demolishing the mansions of the original nobles and building new houses with the bricks and stones of the mansions. In the future, the houses will be divided according to the head. When the citizens think of themselves, they can also live in big houses. No longer need to live in a thatched cottage, naturally very positive. This matter was actually proposed by Jool Lyn. Although the mansions of nobles are indeed luxurious, Jool Lyn feels that they don't need to exist. Now there are no nobles in Cape Franch, and the mansion occupies a large area. It is better to demolish it directly and build a unified house. First of all, eliminate the difference in housing, and everyone wants to live in the same house. As for who wants to rebuild the house in the future, that is a matter for the future. In the future, no one will stop anyone who gets rich through labor and builds bigger and more luxurious houses. That's good. In the future, Roman will be in charge of governance, and Burr will be in charge of national defense. The cooperation of the two will definitely make Cape Franch prosperous. Jool Lyn patted Burr on the shoulder and confirmed. Boss, as the leader, aren't you responsible for something? Burr blinked his big eyes. Of course I have something to do, and I'll show you now. As Jool Lyn said, he took out a lot of cubes from his pocket, quickly piled up fortifications around the pier, and even directly built a fort, and built a cannon on the spot. This cannon is directly spliced with blocks, and the shells are air blocks. Jool Lyn deliberately changed the cannon into a mechanical structure, so that other people can also control the launch. Moreover, air cubes can be made at will, so there is no need to worry about the lack of shells in the future. The explosion power of air cubes is also stronger than that of ordinary shells, which can be said to be very outrageous. Burr was stunned to see that. I thought to myself that it is indeed the boss. The ability of this cube fruit is simply amazing, no wonder the boss can be so strong. Regardless of Burr's thoughts, Jool Lyn continued to pile up the cubes, thinking about the construction drawings in MC, and his hands moved more quickly. There is no shortage of squares, and I don't know how much I dug at the upside-down mountain before. What you have to do now is to keep stacking cubes until you are satisfied. When Roman came over and wanted to report to Jool Lyn, his eyes widened as he watched the fortifications being completed in an instant, and the aerial watchtower and aerial turret were built too much. Jool Lyn also tried the block cannon on the spot, and saw an air block shell hit several miles away. Accompanied by a loud noise, the surface of the sea a few miles away was blasted into waves 10 meters high, and uzumaki was formed on the surface of the sea, and many huge sea beasts also turned into dead bodies and floated up. With such a great power, Roman and Burr fell to the ground in fright. But then he couldn't help but be ecstatic. With such a cannon, not to mention pirate ships, even warships could not approach the islands, and Cape Franch's defense power was instantly raised several levels. Sure enough, a leader is a leader, and having a leader is really reassuring. However, Jool Lyn's subsequent behavior has gradually become outrageous. I saw that Jool Lyn piled up a small island directly next to the main island. He first piled thick stones as the base of the island, and then piled soil blocks on the base. It didn't take long to pile up a whole small island, the fields. Yes, fields. Jool Lyn's meaning is very simple. This man-made island will be used as a food production base in the future. Therefore, it is necessary to select experienced old farmers from the nationals to be responsible. As for the labor force, in addition to ordinary nationals, there are also those old princes and nobles who have been imprisoned. Those old princes and nobles will undergo labor reform as sinners of this country and make contributions to the country. As for whether they will resist or be disobedient, this is also simple, neither kill nor beat. Just don't work and have nothing to eat. if you don't want to be hungry, you have to be obedient. But Jool Lyn's approach is obviously more ruthless. He implanted a small air cube in the bodies of all the sinners, and then detonated a cube in front of the sinners, blasting a deep hole in the ground on the spot. Now all the sinners are straightforward, because such an explosion can directly blow people into scum, and they will die terribly. In addition, they did not dare to escape or contact the outside world for help, because Jool Lyn said that he would know their location through the small cubes in their bodies, and even be able to hear them talking. Once anyone dares to mess around, the small cubes in the body will explode directly, and even implicate other people. Now, the reform through labor problem of the former princes and nobles has also been solved. Another few days passed, and Jool Lyn's renovation of Cape Franch was completed. Looking at the drastically changed island, Jool Lyn felt an unprecedented sense of satisfaction. Just like the feeling when the big project is completed when playing MC. At this time, the lookout from the aerial observation deck sounded the alarm, immediately alerting the recruits of the guards. I saw that the recruits loaded the square shells in an orderly manner and aimed at them. Once they were determined to be the enemy, they would unambiguously launch them and send the enemy back to the west. The quality of these recruits is good. Jool Lyn praised. Hey, if I bring it myself, who would dare to be lazy and try one? Burr looked proud, but he went to the fortification to check it himself, and found that a pirate ship was approaching, and immediately asked the soldiers to shout to warn the pirates to leave. However, the pirates on that ship not only did not leave, but also accelerated their approach. Hey, looks like they want to rob us. Just fire and kill him. Following Burr's order, the air turret fired shells directly, and huge waves continued to explode on the sea for a while, and the pirate ship was immediately swallowed by the huge waves in Uzumaki. The pirate ship didn't even get within 2 miles of the island. It's a shame to dare to go to sea just like that. Such a result made the recruits very excited, and their admiration for Jool Lyn went up to a higher level, and it also boosted the confidence of the recruits. Jool Lyn is not surprised by this. The pirates in the first half of the Grand Line are really average, basically no one can hold a shell. As long as it's not the big pirates from New World or the Marine or World Government's attack, basically you don't have to worry about it. But this made Bonus difficult. Since the last time he fought with the Don Quixote pirates, Bonus has gained combat experience and even started to awaken observation hockey. He has also successfully mastered the skill of using observation hockey in the past few days. A battle is desperately needed now to consolidate. But the pirates in the first half of the Grand Line were too good, which made Bonus unable to arouse the desire to fight. So Bonus started to wander around Jool Lyn, although he didn't speak, but his eyes expressed clearly, "Boss, let's go to New World, I want to fight." Jool Lyn didn't know whether to laugh or cry, and directly threw the newspaper from the previous day to Bonus to read. After reading it, Bonus immediately felt relieved, and ran directly to the watchtower to guard it. The main page content in the newspaper was, "The Sky Gold hijacked by Doflamingo was snatched by Cube Boy Jool Lyn, but the world government did not investigate the fault of Cube Boy, and Marine only raised the reward of Cube Boy to 100 million Baileys." This is undoubtedly sending a signal. The heavenly gold in the hands of the cube snatchers will not offend the world government. This is equivalent to putting honey near the ant nest. How could the ants not grab it? You must know that the amount of gold in the sky itself is very huge, and the bounty of Cube Boy itself is 100 million Baileys. It is simply a walking gold mountain, even the Beast's pirates and Big Mom pirates covet it. Let alone other pirates. Sure enough, within a few days, a huge pirate ship appeared. There were 100 pirates on that pirate ship, all of them were vicious, and they looked very difficult to mess with. Jool Lyn's whereabouts are not difficult to inquire about. Even though Cape Franch's coup is still a secret, it does not prevent intelligence personnel from inquiring about Jool Lyn's whereabouts. Moreover, such news can be easily bought on the black market now, it depends on who comes faster. "Boss, it's Aoli for the pirates," Burr reported with a serious face. Puff. Jool Lyn sprayed on the spot. "What pirates are you talking about?" Burr replied seriously, "It's the Aoli Pirates who are rampant in New World. The Captain Aoli is a Logia marsh fruit-capable person, very powerful and ferocious. It is said that Aoli Pirates are everywhere to leave no one alive." Jool Lyn raised his forehead immediately, and really couldn't help laughing, Ha ha ha, it turns out that he is a marsh fruit capable person, no wonder it's called Aoli, the name is so apt. Boss, can you still laugh? The other party is a vicious new world pirate. Burr panicked. Okay, you let the recruits be in charge of the bombardment, but don't let the recruits go to the front line. They haven't formed combat effectiveness yet, and if they go, they will die. Every soldier of ours is very precious and cannot be sacrificed in vain. Jool Lyn arranged immediately. But, what if the shell doesn't sink the opponent? Isn't there still me, Bonis and you, the three of us go together. Quote. Boss, are you confident that you can beat Aoli? Okay, let me give you an idea, Marine Admiral can fight when it comes. Boss, can you fight Marine Admiral? Then I'm not afraid. Ha ha ha, just give Aoli to the pirates, let them come and go. Burr was so confident that he didn't feel that Jool Lyn was joking at all, because since he knew Jool Lyn, everything Jool Lyn said was right. Since Jool Lyn said that he can fight Marine Admiral, it is true. So, Aoli, who is afraid of shit, gives it to the pirates. Burr immediately went back to the fortification and gave an order, fire. Let Lousy kill these garbage. If they want to rob us of Cape Franch, we'll let them feed the sea beasts. Boom, boom, boom. Although the recruits have no combat effectiveness, they are very skilled in firing. Moreover, there are good sniper seedlings in the recruit, and their aim is very accurate. A few shells hit the side of the pirate ship on the spot, blasting waves and Uzumaki one by one. This scared Aoli to the pirates. Captain Aoli knew immediately that he had underestimated the small country in this paradise, and quickly ordered the crew to control the pirate ship to speed up, and arranged combatants to deal with the incoming shells. But the pirates still underestimated the power of the shells. I saw a self-righteous swordsman jumping up and split the square cannonball in two with a sword, but the cannonball exploded on the spot, immediately blowing up the swordsman bloody, and fell on the deck with serious injuries on the spot. Is this still the country of paradise? Aoli yelled, where did you see such a powerful shell in the first half of the Grand Line? Isn't Cape Franch a small island country? What's going on now? Vice Captain Oliver hurriedly said, brother, this cannonball should have been made by Cube Boy's fruit ability. His strength is probably extraordinary. We must be careful. Aoli was also unambiguous, and immediately ordered, everyone paddle. Let's go at full speed. Since the shells are so dangerous, and the opponent's shots are so accurate, you can't dodge them. The only way is to approach quickly and take down the fort. As for Cube Kid, Aoli is confident that he can take it down. He is a Logia fruit-capable person, Cube Boy is a weak chicken who has never even been to the New World, and he certainly doesn't know hockey, so he is naturally easy to deal with. As long as Cube Boy is taken down, the gold in the sky and the bounty of 100 million Baileys will all belong to him, Aoli. On the dock side, Burr reported again, boss, the shells failed to destroy the other party's pirate ship, and they are getting closer, shall we go now? Jool Lyn pointed to the observation deck, bonus has already gone up, if you slow down, you will lose your share. Bolton's expression changed, Nani. Bonus is so fast. No, I'll hurry up now. Boss, don't compete with us for the time being. After speaking, he rushed directly from the stone steps to the observation deck in the air, and then jumped from the observation deck to Aoli to the pirate group. And Bonus had already arrived on the pirate ship, and turned himself into a killing machine, frantically sending the pirates away one by one, no one could stop him. West Blue Killer, Daz Bonus who has the ability to cut fruit quickly. Let me meet you. Oliver yelled, and rushed up with the big knife, but with a sweep of the sharp blade in the palm of Boney's, it even directly cut off the big knife, and even swept it towards his neck. Aoli's expression changed immediately, and he immediately pulled his brother back, narrowly avoiding Bonus's attack. Be careful, this guy is not mediocre. As he spoke, he personally raised his knife to meet him, and in the blink of an eye, he confronted Bonus with more than a dozen moves. Aoli found that not only did he fail to gain the upper hand, but the other party took advantage of the gap to kill many of his subordinates. He was shocked and angry. He didn't expect this West Blue Killer to have such strength. Bonus, on the other hand, was on the rise, using the Master Slash and Mode Slash continuously, reaping the lives of all the pirates. However, Bonus still focused on attacking the captain, Aoli. This guy seemed to be a big pirate from New World. He was definitely not weak, and he could just hone his skills. At this time, Burr also landed on the pirate ship, raised his hand and knocked down the 2 pirates. Upon seeing this, Oliver immediately turned into a kobold and killed Burr. "Oh, it seems that you are also a zone fruit ability user, so I'm not welcome. Ha 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 ha, watch me transform." Burr immediately turned into a gorilla, thumped his chest and threw himself at Oliver. At the same time, he used his housekeeping punches, and he was on par with Oliver for a while. Jool Lyn stood at the fortification and accompanied the recruits to watch the battle. At the same time, he also educated, look carefully and study hard. Bonus and Burr are very powerful. If you learn 1.5 moves, you will definitely benefit endlessly. When you grow up, you will also participate in battles, but don't be inferior to others at that time. I was beaten to death. If any of you reach the standard, I will personally teach you Marine 6 Styles, which is a move used by Marine hero Garp. Boss, we know, we must study hard. The recruits were so excited. I didn't expect that the leader would teach Marine 6 Styles himself, and Marine 6 Styles has such a great background. If he can learn it, he will definitely become a strong party. And when the time comes, he will still be the apprentice of the leader. Such a good opportunity must not be let go. Jool Lyn stimulated the recruit, and then continued to observe the battle on the pirate ship. Bonus's strength has grown rapidly. Not only the fruit ability is more ferocious, armament hockey is also very proficient, and observation hockey is also constantly consolidating. I believe that over time, Bonus will definitely become stronger. As for Burr, after all, he is only a strong player in the first half of the Grand Line, and he still lacks a lot in strength. Now he is already struggling with the vice-captain of the pirates on Aoli. It seems that Burr will have to be taught in the future. However, there are too many pirates, and Bonus and Burr alone can't do it, so Jool Lyn plans to do it himself. And I want to stimulate the recruits again. I'm going to make a move now. Next, I'll demonstrate Marine 6 Styles to you. You will know how powerful Marine 6 Styles is. Keep your eyes open. I won't demonstrate it a second time. As Jool Lyn said, he stepped on the moonwalk and flew towards Aoli to the pirates. All the recruits and the nationals who came to watch the excitement were stunned. Everyone knows that the leader can fly, but that is the ability of Devil Fruit, but now it is obviously not the fruit ability, but running directly in the sky. That is this one of the Marine 6 Styles? After learning Marine 6 Styles, you can run directly in the sky. This kind of thought rose in the mind, and immediately made everyone more excited, staring at Jool Lyn with wide eyes, for fear of missing any point of the picture. Tempest Kick. Jool Lyn raised his foot and swept out a slash. Slash flew directly to the pirate ship, cutting the 3 pirates in half immediately. The next second, Jool Lyn landed on the deck with a bang, and walked towards the other pirates. Seeing this, the pirates were a little scared, and immediately raised their flintlock guns and started shooting. Paper Arts. Jool Lyn's body suddenly became swaying like a piece of paper, and he easily dodged the bullet. Seeing that the gunshots were ineffective, the pirates raised their knives and attacked immediately. Iron Body. Jool Lyn immediately recovered from the paper art state, and then his body became extremely hard. The pirate's machete only made a ding-ding sound when he slashed at his body, but did not cause any damage at all. This made the pirates terrified. But Jool Lyn wouldn't take the opportunity to stop. He raised his index finger and poked suddenly. Finger Pistol. Puff puff. 3 more pirates took the lunch box. Shave. Finger Pistol. Jool Lyn flashed in front of the other pirates again, and used the finger pistol to kill them again. The whole process was smooth, without any procrastination, which can be called the art of killing. Anyway, the recruits and the nationals were dumbfounded. Marine 6 Styles, as scary as it gets. Ha 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 ha. Boss Jool Lyn, these are the Marine 6 Styles you mentioned, right? They are really powerful. Teach me when you have time. Burr laughed. If you want to learn, I will naturally teach. Jool Lyn didn't care. Then I'm sorry. It seems that there is still a big gap between me and these New World big pirates. When first learn Marine 6 Styles, I will definitely not be weaker than them. Burr stared at Oliver, who was fighting with him bitterly. He was very confident in his boxing at first. After all, he had guarded Cape Franch for 10 years and had been defeating many pirates with this boxing. But now he is being pressed and beaten, which makes him very uncomfortable. It wouldn't matter if he was crushed like he met Doflamingo, but this Oliver is obviously not a big shot, but he couldn't even beat him. Isn't this embarrassing for him? It seems that we must learn Marine 6 styles as soon as possible. Look at the boss killing pirates in 6 ways. It is as easy as chopping melons and vegetables, highlighting an elegance and silkiness. It's really enviable. But Aolij, who was fighting with Bonus, had a gloomy face. Aoli didn't expect Cube Boy to be so powerful, and he can also Marine 6 styles, and nearly 100 of his men would probably be slaughtered by this Cube Boy. What was even more unexpected was that Cube Boy's subordinate, Daz Bonus, had such fighting power. Originally, the ability to quickly cut fruit was difficult to deal with, but I didn't expect this guy to have armament hockey and observation hockey, which made his marsh fruit ability lose the advantage in an instant. What about Logia? As long as you know hockey, you can play Logia. Aoli can naturally know hockey, but because the fruit ability is too convenient, he doesn't pay enough attention to hockey. Hockey's level is not much higher than Bonus. This also caused him to be able to suppress Bonus for a long time, but it was not difficult to defeat him. If this goes on like this, when Cube Kid kills someone and frees up his hand, wouldn't he be belching? The more he thought about it, the more anxious he became. Aoli simply ignored it and wanted to fight with all his strength, only to see that he forced Bonus back with one move, and his body suddenly turned into a ball of mud. The swamp devours. The mud spread instantly, spreading across the deck like a swamp. In an instant, the corpses on the deck were swallowed directly, and many pirates who were still alive were also swallowed by the swamp. Bonus immediately retreated, along with Burr and Jool Lyn, and the 3 of them couldn't help but look at each other as they watched the swamp swallow the ship. What is this guy up to? Why do you even swallow your own people? And is this going to swallow the ship too? Then wouldn't he himself fall into the sea and be drowned by the sea? Oliver also felt that his elder brother's situation was wrong, so he quickly dodged the swallowing of the swamp, and shouted at the same time, "Brother, why did you swallow the crew too, so our pirate group will be gone?" Aoli replied, "Oliver, you stay away and watch your brother swallow the Cube Boys. As for the pirates, as long as we win, the huge amount of gold in the sky is enough for us to reorganize the pirates. So there's nothing to worry about. But brother, there is no need to do this to this extent." "Shut up. I'm the big brother, I'm the captain, you have to listen to me. If I don't do this, we will die." After Aoli scolded his younger brother severely, he continued to speed up the spread of the swamp. Oliver couldn't refute it, because he also saw that Daz Bonus and Burr were so powerful that he and his brother couldn't win for a long time, and after Cube Kid joined the battle, the situation turned to the other side. There is no doubt that the result is that their Aoli will lose to the pirates. Therefore, the eldest brother chose this method because of helplessness. But it doesn't matter, as the elder brother said, as long as you grab the gold from the sky, you can make a comeback. The mere crew is just a bunch of cannon fodder, just recruit again. At this time Jool Lyn said, "You two back off, it's my turn." As he said that, he stepped on the moonwalk and rushed to Oliver, slapped Oliver unconscious, and turned it into a small cube and put it away. "The dog fruit is also good, anyway, we can't let it go." Aoli was furious immediately, "Fool! Return my brother." Jool Lyn laughed immediately, "Hee, I didn't expect you to be so fond of my younger brother, come and get it if you have the ability." "Die!" Aoli yelled angrily, and disgusting tentacles stretched out from the swamp, stabbing towards Jool Lyn. But Jool Lyn didn't panic. He lifted his foot and the Tempest Kick slashed continuously. The slash not only cut off those tentacles instantly, but also cut into the swamp, but it was like a stone sinking into the sea. Aoli laughed mockingly, "Ha ha ha ha. You can't find me, as long as I'm in the swamp, I'm invincible, and no one can beat me." It seems that this is Aoli's trick to run rampant in New World. Faced with this trick, even many strong people who know armament hockey will be helpless. However, this was a trivial matter to Jool Lyn, who immediately locked onto Aoli's position with a glance of knowledge. Tempest Kick Storm. Jool Lyn raised his foot and swept towards the locked position, easily sweeping away many swamps, leaving only a small puddle of mud. Then he launched the 6-style shaving and flashed to the small pool of mud. Finger pistol wrapped around armament hockey and plunged into the mud with a very clear pop. Aoli gave a heart-piercing scream. Jool Lyn pulled out his index finger, which was dripping with blood. And the small stall of mud quickly turned back into a human form, and Aoli made a finger hole between his eyebrows. His eyes were wide open. It can be said that he could not rest in peace. It is estimated that Aoli didn't expect that his move would be broken so easily, and Jool Lyn's speed was too fast. He didn't even have time to deal with it. At the moment of death, I didn't even have time to say my last words. However, since he chose to bring the pirates to find Jool Lyn, the ending was already doomed. Jool Lyn will not let marsh fruit go, even if this Logia devil fruit is used by caribou more than 10 years later, but Logia is Logia, and it is absolutely invincible in a paradise without hockey. The battle is over, it's time to clean up the field. Jool Lyn directly activated the fruit ability to turn the pirate ship and its contents into small cubes. Simultaneously manipulate the cube to bring Bonus and Burr back to the dock. Before the three of them landed, they heard the cheers of the citizens, and saw that the eyes of the citizens burst out with crazy admiration, and the recruits looked eagerly. It seems that Marine 6 Styles has stimulated everyone a lot. Jool Lyn said loudly again. See, this is the power of Marine 6 Styles. Recruits must work hard. As long as someone reaches the standard, they will teach Marine 6 Styles. Learn Marine 6 Styles and protect your homeland. Oh, learn Marine 6 Styles. Protect your homeland. Learn Marine 6 Styles. Protect your homeland. Fanatical worship is unreasonable, and what Jool Lyn said now seems to have become classics, which made Jool Lyn very helpless, but he didn't try to dissuade him. The era of the Great Pirate was too chaotic, so ordinary people should have some spiritual sustenance so that they can live with vigor. The pier quickly quieted down again, and everyone went into work mode again. But Burr directly took Jool Lyn to the recruit training ground and asked Jool Lyn to teach him Marine 6 Styles himself. Jool Lyn naturally would not object, and was very happy. Only the stronger Burr is, the stronger the defense force of Cape Franchise will be. In that way, Jool Lyn can feel free to leave to do other things at any time. However, to Jool Lyn's surprise, Bonus came along. Obviously he was indifferent to the 6 forms before. Bonus took the initiative to explain. Shave and moonwalk, I want to learn. Jool Lyn suddenly realized that Bonus probably saw his own shortcomings and wanted to make up for them with the 6 styles. As long as you learn shave and moonwalk, speed and air combat are no longer short boards. As for the other 4 styles, Bonus doesn't need to learn them, his fruiting ability is already enough. Then, Jool Lyn started to act as a teacher, explaining the techniques while demonstrating the 6 styles, and the teaching ended soon. However, there is an extra hockey class for Burr. Even if Burr cannot awaken hockey temporarily, he cannot be ignorant of hockey. And the news that Aoli gave the pirates to be wiped out immediately spread. Although no one else was present at the time, there were actually many people watching. Many intelligence personnel are particularly keen on secretly observing, and they hide very well. Taking pictures and collecting evidence without being easily discovered by others is called a profession. While such a job is risky, it's also highly rewarding. It didn't take long for many forces to buy this information, and then many pirates who were planning to go to Cape Franch immediately returned home. After all, even Aoli was wiped out by the pirate group, and those who are weak will not be sent to death. Of course, this does not dissuade some big pirates from wanting to win the gold in the sky. Marine has also received news, but Sengoku's focus is obviously different from that of the pirates. He feels that there seems to be a problem with Cape Franch and his country. You know, Cube Boy is a bounty offender. But what happened to the citizens of the kingdom of Cape Franch? In the intelligence photo, although the picture is a little far away, one can see the fanaticism of the citizens of this kingdom, and they seem to worship Cube Boy very much. Do the common people worship the bounty offenders? How is this going? Sengoku vaguely felt something was wrong, but he frowned and thought about it for a long time, until Kong called himself. Now Kong has transferred the office to Mary Joy. Although he has not officially stepped down as the marshal, he has already started to work as the commander-in-chief of the entire army. I just heard Kong say, Sengoku, go investigate Cape Franch, there is a problem there. Sengoku also said, Marshal, I also see something wrong, but I don't know what's wrong. It seems that there is some secret hidden inside. That's why I asked you to investigate deeply. Cape Franch is a member of the world government, and Marine is responsible for the safety of the kingdom. The CP suspects that Cube Boy usurped the power of the kingdom. You send someone to confirm it. Nani, usurped power. Sengoku was stunned. He didn't want to know how the CP people guessed. But if you think about it carefully, many things seem to make sense. Because Cape Franch is only a small country, people rarely pay attention to it. Even though it has joined the franchise countries in these years, there is not much information about this small country. All I know is that in order to pay the heavenly gold, King Robert Wallien frantically searched for the people's fat and anointment. However, in the intelligence photos I saw just now, the citizens of this small country worship Cube Boy so much. It is really possible that Cube Kid seized the throne and rescued those citizens, so he is worshipped fanatically. Etc. Rescue. Why use the word rescue? Cube Kid, a heinous bounty offer who usurped the throne, saved the common people instead. Sengoku was a little confused. Why did he think so? In short, you must pay attention to Cube Boy, and you have to handle this matter yourself. Kong urged. Okay Marshal, I see. Sengoku agreed, then hung up the phone, and wanted to call Kizaru, but felt that it was too much to let Admiral go, so he appointed the Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral to go. Flying Squirrel is an old senior. Like Akainu, Kizaru, and Aokiji, he is a disciple of Zephyr. He also followed Garp and Sengoku to hunt down Golden Lion and Roger. His strength is definitely not bad. Although it can't reach the level of Kizaru 3, it should be enough to deal with the mere box kid. The Flying Squirrel didn't complain, and immediately took the order, but he didn't take it seriously, thinking that Sengoku Admiral had made a big deal out of a molehill. Chapter 51. That Cube Kid was nothing more than a rat digging through upside-down mountain. How strong can you be if you haven't even been to New World? According to the idea of the Flying Squirrel, it is enough to send a capable captain there, but to send him, a senior vice admiral, is really giving Cube Boy too much face. But the Flying Squirrel would like to think about it, but would not question Sengoku's order. Soon, a warship sailed from naval headquarters towards Cape Franch. At this time, Jool Lyn was still sitting on the square above the pier, chatting with a phone bug with shoe prints on his face. Jool Lyn, you really make me not know what to say. Drago was obviously very helpless. I haven't acted yet, but you have already taken a step ahead. If there is no accident, the Marine and world government have probably noticed it. Jool Lyn was also helpless. I can't help it. When I robbed Doflamingo, I found that the state of this country was too suitable for an uprising. No one would do it just because it is suitable for an uprising. You are bold enough, but your operations are very sophisticated. You didn't leak any news, and you completed the coup in the shortest possible time. It's unbelievable. Hey, let me share my experience with you. Jool Lyn talked about his operation process with a smile. The Revolutionary Army will also take action at any time. It is also a good thing to share more experience, and Drago can learn more. Although Jool Lyn is also trying, but now it seems that the effect is not bad, especially the policy implemented after the success of the coup, which is a very pleasant surprise to Dorag. The original Bendo Lager wanted to overthrow the tyranny of some countries, and then elect a wise king to the throne. But now it seems that the cabinet system promoted by Jool Lyn is obviously better. As long as the cabinet represents the interests of ordinary people, exploitation and oppression will be eliminated. Only the country and its citizens can be truly saved. As for wise kings, it is true, but it does not guarantee that the descendants of the king will also be wise. As long as the throne is hereditary, as long as the privileges of the king are still there, one day it will evolve into what it is now. Therefore, the monarchy system does not need to continue to exist. It is better to operate like Jool Lyn. I got the news here. Sengoku sent Marine Vice Admiral Flying Squirrels to investigate Cape Franch. You have to be careful and remember to bring it up whenever you need it. Drago warned. Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral, it's not a big problem, I already have a solution. Jool Lyn was full of confidence, and then said, I have a lot of devil fruit here, see if you want it, and if you want it, send someone to get it. I've been in Cape Franch recently. You should keep it for yourself. You also need to develop the team, and you also need devil fruit. You really don't want it. Logia marsh fruit, zone dog fruit and paramesha lion fruit. Lion fruit. That's not the golden lion. Not long ago, a large number of islands fell from the sky on the Grand Line, because the golden lion was killed by you. Hey, don't be surprised. My luck has always been good. I not only killed the big rooster, but also picked up the lion fruit. Quote. Drago didn't speak. Drago knew a little about Jool Lyn's secret. The last time I killed Pika, I got Pika's shishi fruit. Then I killed Capone Beige, and I got the fortress fruit. Now that lion fruit is available, it's hard not to think too much. But Drago didn't delve into it. Everyone has their own secrets, even Drag himself has secrets. Some secrets don't have to be told to friends who fight together, you just need to know that friends will not betray. Jool Lyn was of great help to the Revolutionary Army. Money, supplies, arms and even devil fruit were given to him as soon as he got it, without any ambiguity. If such people are suspicious, then the Revolutionary Army should stop doing it. Therefore, as long as Jool Lyn does not take the initiative to talk about it, Drago will not delve into Jool Lyn's secret, and will cooperate with Jool Lyn to cover up the secret to ensure Jool Lyn's safety. But, lion fruit. Such a strategic fruit was acquired by Jool Lyn, who is really lucky. Drago wanted it very much, but after thinking about it carefully, he said, "You keep it for yourself first. You have supported me enough, and I haven't acted yet, so I don't need it for the time being. Since you have already started to act, you are the one who needs devil fruit the most, you just need to use it." For Jool Lyn, Drago is still at ease. Every action is not random, and the results achieved are also high. So Drago thinks those devil fruits should be more helpful in the hands of Jool Lyn. Jool Lyn is also not polite, then I will use it myself. In addition, I have to ask you to help collect intelligence from various places. The intelligence system on my side has not yet been established. These are trivial things, you don't have to be polite. Drago agreed, chatted with Jool Lyn for a few more words, and then hung up the phone bug. Jool Lyn put away the phone bug, but frowned, thinking about how to deal with the Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral. Although it's not difficult to defeat the Flying Squirrel, you can't kill people casually. If you kill the Flying Squirrel, Sengoku and Garp will definitely go crazy, and they will be surrounded by Marine executives. I am not afraid, but now there is a country behind me, and there are 2 younger brothers under my hands. You still have to be restrained in doing things. Forget it, let's do it according to the original idea. Let's get rid of the Flying Squirrel first. After Cape Franch has cultivated a stronger defense force, I can leave and make trouble elsewhere. As Jool Lyn said, he turned and went to the recruit training ground to check the homework of Bonus and Burr. Just wait for the Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral to arrive. But at this time, Marine suddenly began to promulgate a new policy, about the implementation of the 7 warlords of the sea system. The world government and Marine will recognize the legal plunder status of the 7 big pirates, and the 7 big pirates must obey the call of the world government and Marine at any time. Of these, 4 Shichibukai have been identified, the Sea Rogue Don Quixote Doflamingo, Sir Crocodile, Tyrant Bear, and Dracula Mahawk. Once this new policy was promulgated, it immediately caused an uproar in the sea. The pirates fear and ridicule the so-called 7 warlords of the sea, fearing Shichibukai's strength, but mocking Shichibukai as a shame to the pirates. The dignified big pirate accepts Marine's recruitment, isn't it embarrassing and embarrassing? The common people were terrified, their trust in Marine was cracked, and they couldn't believe that this was the new system promulgated by Marine. However, it is true. In other words, Shichibukai can legally rob in specific sea areas in the future. It's ironic, how can robbery be legal? World government and Marine don't know how much impact the promulgation of the 7 warlords of the sea system will have in the future. Their original intention was to unite 7 powerful pirates to fight against New World's hegemony and separatism, so as to achieve the balance of the sea, and it will indeed be balanced in the next 10 years. But this balance is extremely dangerous. Pirates are greedy, and powerful pirates are even more greedy. These big pirates don't care about the money grabbing of a town or a city, but want more. As the saying goes, those who steal bought are thieves, and those who steal the country are princes. Some big thieves will use the name of Shichibukai to secretly plan to seize the power of certain countries in order to gain greater power and more benefits. Such as Doflamingo, like Crocodile. Originally, They wanted to fight against the New World separatism, but Shichibukai also dominated the local separatist regime, and violated Marine's orders, and finally became a situation that could not be lost. But now the world government and Marine have not thought of that step, and are only looking forward to the return of the sea to balance. Now it is the second half of Sea Circle calendar 1509, and the separatism of New World is gradually coming to an end. After Moria and Kaido decide the winner, the status of the three emperors of New World will be confirmed. Jool Lyn also bought the newspaper naturally, and then threw the newspaper aside with a sneer. The world government doesn't care about the life and death of ordinary people, and it doesn't care about marine justice. As long as the sea can be balanced, there will be less noise, so what if pirates can plunder legally? So, the corruption of the Celestial Dragons regime is obvious, but there are still people in Marine who have illusions of justice. Like Zephyr, like Aokiji. It's really pitiful. Boss, the lookouts are here to report that there are warships approaching this way. Burr reported with a worried expression on his face. Oh, is it finally here? Jool Lyn patted Burr on the shoulder. Don't worry, according to our original design, isn't Robert's bloodline kept as the puppet king to cope with today's situation? Burr was still worried, but in this way, Marine may fully target you, the leader. Jool Lyn laughed. Ha 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 ha. Why do I have any fear? Didn't I tell you that even if Marine Admiral comes, I can fight? Just wait and see, I will be safe and sound. As he said that, he directly called Bonus to come over, and flew away from the island in cube. Burr didn't dare to delay, and immediately called Roman's cabinet members together. After explaining the situation, the seven immediately split up. Or to arrange actors, or to warn the prisoners in labor camps, or to gather recruits to welcome Marine. Anyway, everything will be ready soon, and everyone in the country knows Jool Lyn's plan at the beginning. Now that he finally has a new life, how could he let Marine destroy it? Therefore, it is naturally a very active cooperation. As for those criminals in the labor camp, they still have air bombs in their bodies, so dare to talk nonsense. Soon, Burr assembled the recruits and waited at the pier. Watching the warship getting closer, many people even wanted to use a cannon to blast a square bomb. You don't come when we are being exploited by nobles. Life is easier now, you meows are here, and you are still here to deal with the leader. Who doesn't know that Marine is a member of the world government, and Cape Franch is one of the member countries of the world government? The interests of the royal family and nobles are naturally consistent with the world government and Marine. So Marine is here for the benefit of the royal family and nobles. How could it be possible for them to succeed? However, according to the leader's plan, he still had to bury his anger in his heart, and acted in front of Marine, showing his best acting skills. As a result, many soldiers rubbed their faces, which soon turned into expressions of surprise. Burr glanced back and couldn't help being speechless. He didn't know that these guys under him could be so good at pretending. Sure enough, there are still many talents in the world. Helpless, Burr quickly changed his face. There were pride, anger, and surprise in that expression, and it was hard to describe it in words. The flying squirrel, who was standing on the bow of the warship, saw Cape Franch's guards from a long distance away, and it seemed that they were coming to meet them instead of fighting them, which confused the flying squirrel for a while. But the cannon was aimed at the warship, afraid that a few shells would suddenly come from the opposite side. Vice Admiral, the flying squirrel, shall we continue to approach? The accompanying Lieutenant Commander Hina asked. Of course it's close. Smoker, who is also Lieutenant Commander, said, what we are dealing with is Cube Boy, who has nothing to do with the army of this country, and the other party has not shown any hostility, so should we be on guard? Hina rolled her eyes, not bothering to deal with the smoke. Without even the most basic precautions, who knows if these people will be with Cube Boy? The flying squirrel pondered for a while, and ordered, go ahead. As Smoker said, the opponent has no hostility, and even if there is hostility, he is not afraid. A single warship in Marine can destroy the country, so there is nothing to hesitate. So, head straight to the island to see what's going on, and also to see where Cube Kid is. Soon, the warship docked at the pier, and Burr immediately led his troops to meet it. But Burr pointed at the flying squirrel proudly and angrily and shouted, you are the Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel, right? What are you Marines doing? Why are you here now? The flying squirrel and all the sea soldiers were stunned, unable to react for a while. However, the soldiers behind Burr seemed to be surprised, and they seemed to be looking forward to Marine's arrival. So the flying squirrel said, "I'm a flying squirrel, and you should be Burr, the guard captain of the Kingdom of Cape Franch. Let me tell you about the situation first." But Burr said angrily, "What a fart." Cube Boy flew away as soon as he saw the warship coming. "Nani?" Cube Kid ran away. "That's right. Hurry up and chase after him. Hurry up and eliminate the Cube Boy to save Cape Franch. What are you still doing? Don't hurry up. Cube Kid should go to a nearby desert island to get the treasure. If you don't go, people will run away." Quote. The flying squirrel almost couldn't help turning the warship around. But he is not stupid, and he is very smart. He always feels that something is wrong. So he didn't listen to Burr's urging, and directly took Smoker and Hina to the shore, and faced Burr face to face, which immediately brought tremendous pressure to Burr. Burr took a step back subconsciously and swallowed. "What are you going to do? You can't catch Cube Boy. Are you going to shoot me? I am the captain of Cape Franch, and we Cape Franch as a member of the world government. Try to move me, the king will definitely sue you to the world government." This fox's demeanor of pretending to be powerful is really not like pretending, it is exactly the same as people from other franchise countries. The flying squirrel asked, "Aoli was attacked by the pirates not long ago. As the captain of the guard, Burr fought with Cube Boy. Don't tell me, you and Cube Kid are not on the same team." Burr got angry when he heard the words, and shouted with his hands on his hips, "Are you stupid? Aoli is very vicious to the pirates, and he wants to come to my country to burn, kill, and loot. Shouldn't I fight? Cube Boy regards this place as a territory. What's wrong with protecting your own territory? And you Marines, you didn't come when you were needed, but now you are talking sarcastic. Cube Kid thinks this is his territory. Yes, otherwise, why do you think he came here? Tell me specifically what the situation is. This matter is very important. I need to report it to my superiors." Quote. Burr looked impatient, but he still said, "Not long ago, Cube Boy attacked our country, brutally killed the king and a group of ministers, and directly announced that he would take over here. After that, all the money of the royal family and nobles was taken away by him, on a nearby desert island." The flying squirrel frowned, and then he began to rule. He directly used his ability to build fortifications, and threatened the lives of the people, asking me to form a guard army to serve him. In addition, he didn't like the houses of the nobles, and then forced the people to build large-scale buildings. An island was even built next to the main island to grow crops, as if to use this place as a development base. Go on, I want to know everything. Tisk. We were terrified by the strength of Cube Boy, so we had to temporarily choose to surrender, and tried our best to save the little Prince Wayne, secretly elected Vice Admiral Prince Wayne as the new king, and then waited for marine rescue. Why don't you call for help from the phone bug? We dare not ask for help. All the nobles who are still alive have been implanted with cube bombs by the Cube Boy. If you think carefully, the cube bomb will detonate, and people will be blown to pieces. Do you still have to ask? Hurry up and destroy them. Cube Boy is right, it's useless to ask so many questions." Burr looked so irritable that he almost pointed at the flying squirrel's nose and cursed. But the guard soldiers looked expectant, as if they were expecting Marine to wipe out Cube Boy. The flying squirrel thought for a while, and continued to ask, "Where are the nobles who are still alive? Take me to see." Burr looked reluctant, but he took the initiative to take the 3 flying squirrels to the island. The 3 flying squirrels saw the nobles in coarse linen clothes doing farm work in a strange way, and they didn't know what to say for a while. What's the habit of this square boy, letting nobles do farm work? At this time, a noble lady saw Marine and ran over in surprise. Seeing the expressions of her relatives on that face, one can imagine how painful she has been since she was forced to work in a labor camp. At this time, she can't care about the bomb in her body, and just wants Marine to save her. "Marine, hurry up and save me, I am." Boom. The whole person exploded into a puddle of blood. Such a scene made the reform through labor criminals who had had a glimmer of hope completely feel cold, and quickly pretended not to see Marine, and continued to do farm work tremblingly. But the flying squirrel, Hina and Smoker were furious when they saw this. This square kid is so reckless about human life. We must kill him. Smoker growled and almost spit out his cigar. Hina is angry. Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral, let's go after him immediately. Hina also said. Quote. The Flying Squirrel always felt that something was wrong. But Burr's eyes flashed with joy, but he was extremely unhappy when he heard Smoker and Hina's words. What a disregard for human life. The royal family and the nobles have never put the lives of the people at their fingertips. Where were you when they ignored people's lives? Have you seen our misery? This noble lady has already obtained the opportunity to reform through labor, but she doesn't know how to cherish it, so she should die. We don't have any guilt, and you don't come to show the so-called justice. The Flying Squirrel thought over and over again, where is the king? Take me to see the king. Burr sneered again and again, the king is less than 1 year old now, so what if you see him? Quote. We got information that when Cube Kid wiped out Aoli and gave him to the pirates, you were very fanatical in supporting him. Don't tell me, you're just pretending. Hee, my Lord Vice Admiral, do we dare not pretend? If we don't pretend to support Cube Boy, can we survive? What else do you want? Do you want to continue to waste time and let Cube Kid run away? If Cube Boy is not eliminated, the air bombs in many people's bodies cannot be removed, and we have to submit to him forever. We are citizens of the franchise countries, do you Marine not plan to control our lives? Quote. This time the Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral finally stopped talking, turned around and left with the murderous Smoker and Hina. But before returning to the pier, he saw an old man leading a group of ragged citizens around the roadside, looking at the three of them expectantly. Roman bowed deeply, please, righteous Marine. Those citizens also bowed and said, please, just Marine. There are many children among them, with trust and hope in those pure eyes. This made the three flying squirrels feel an unprecedented responsibility, so they nodded heavily to these citizens, resolutely turned back to the warship, and turned around towards the deserted island that Burr pointed to. They Marine are going to kill Cube Boy. For justice, save the citizens of this country. However, the three of them didn't see the sarcasm in the lowered eyes of many citizens, and many children stuck out their tongues secretly and mischievously. These people were specially selected by Roman, and all of them are actors. Although the Flying Squirrel is very sensitive and easily detects flaws, the death of the noble lady shocked the Flying Squirrel deeply, and he didn't think that children would follow suit, so he fell for it. His only thought now is, destroy Cube Boy. Only by eliminating Cube Boy can the country be saved, and he will be able to submit tasks to his superiors. As for what the CP organization noticed was wrong, there was nothing wrong with it, it was just a vicious bounty criminal who wanted to occupy a country. Just capture or even kill this bounty criminal, don't be suspicious. Besides, although the government of Cape Franch has changed, the king is still a member of the Robert royal family. This country is still a member of the world government, so there is no problem. But the Flying Squirrels don't know that this country is not just as simple as changing the regime. Its essential thinking has changed. Jool Lyn took great pains to let new ideas take root and grow in this country. Watching the warship walk away, Burr and Roman looked at each other and couldn't help but smile. Then, he glanced behind him, and saw that this group of guys who were full of drama just now suddenly changed their faces, how much hope was in their eyes just now, and how angry they are now. Everyone can't wait to beat those Marines to death. But it can't be like that, because that will ruin the leader's event. Cape Franch's democratic nature cannot be exposed for the time being, and the country must temporarily wear the skin of a member country, just waiting for the seeds of new ideas to take root and germinate. When it is really possible to fight against the world government, there will be no more scruples. The 7 members of the cabinet are very clear about this point, and the citizens are willing to follow the leader's footsteps even though they don't understand it very well, because only by following the leader can they live a good life. Still, Burr and Roman couldn't help but worry. So, Burr quickly contacted Jool Lyn with a phone bug and informed Marine's strength. On the deserted island, Jool Lyn couldn't help showing surprise after hanging up the phone. Unexpectedly, Smoker and Hina also came, and these two are now lieutenant commander. Now Smoker and Hina are only 17 or 18 years old, so I don't know how strong they are. To be on the safe side, I still told Bonus, I will be in charge of dealing with the Flying Squirrels later, and I will leave the rest to you. There are 2 lieutenant commanders with good strength, one is a Logia smoke fruit capable person, and the other is a Paramesha cage fruit ability user, although you should be able to beat it, but be careful. Bonus said, Boss, can't you kill someone? Try to be merciful. Marines and pirates are different after all. Many of them are righteous and kind-hearted guys. However, you still put your own safety first. Fighting will inevitably lead to casualties. I don't think so. We'll blame you for it. Understood. The boss doesn't have to worry. Although Bonus didn't have much expression on his face, it could be seen that he was full of confidence. Thinking about it, I know that this guy has already mastered 2-color hockey, and he has also touched the threshold of Marine 6 Styles 2 in Moonwalk before, and has a very precise understanding of his talent and strength. He doesn't underestimate anyone, but he really doesn't look down on young people who are similar to him. Except for Jool Lyn, he doesn't think he will lose to any other peers. Coming, Jool Lyn saw the warship, but did nothing. Just standing on the shore with Bonus, smilingly waiting for Marine's arrival. Marine naturally also found Jool Lyn and Bonus, and the Flying Squirrel ordered the warship to dock without hesitation, but before the Flying Squirrel could say anything, Smoker had turned into smoke and flew to the deserted island. Smoker, don't act on your own. The Flying Squirrel couldn't help but growl, with the usual helplessness in his voice. Smoker and Hina are also students of Zephyr Admiral, and they are also the 2 most outstanding graduates in the new batch. They graduated with the rank of Lieutenant Commander. But Hina is rational and stable, while Smoker is impulsive and irritable. Many senior military officers have taken 2 of them to sea, so they have this evaluation. Many people like to take Hina very much, because Hina is calm and composed, and her strength is not weak, plus she is young and beautiful, so she is naturally very popular. Smoker, on the other hand, is a dislike. This guy acts on his own will every time and doesn't obey orders at all, which makes people very headache. Even if this guy can basically win with the Logia fruit ability every time, what the leading officer wants is not the result, but the process. Whether a team is qualified or not depends first on whether the soldiers listen to the commander's orders. Obviously, Smoker is not a qualified soldier. But Smoker's background is not bad, and he has a good relationship with Aokiji and Garp. As the saying goes, if someone above has a successful career, everyone will sell Smoker some face. The same goes for the Flying Squirrel, so he doesn't blame Smoker too much. But this time is different. From the perspective of the Flying Squirrel, Cube Boy is not weak. After all, he defeated the vicious pirate Aoli from New World, so he should not be underestimated. At least know hockey's captain to deal with it. Although Smoker is a Logia-capable person, he is still a rookie after all, and he might suffer a disadvantage against Cube Boy. But Smoker turned a deaf ear to it. What flashed through his mind was the noble lady who exploded in front of her face, and the hopeful eyes of the people in the kingdom. He was already dazzled by anger. Cube Boy, take your life. White Snake. Smoker roared and rushed to the deserted island in a short time. A pair of fists turned into smoke jets and shot straight at Jool Lyn's head. However, Jool Lyn just yawned and ignored Smoker at all. Seeing the white fist approaching, Bonus at the side immediately blocked Jool Lyn. With both palms turned into knives, he slashed forward, and directly chopped Yan Yan's fist open. Smoker originally wanted to taunt a few words in his heart, but the next second he felt a sharp pain in his fist, and his expression changed immediately. He immediately withdrew his fist, and what he saw was a deep wound on the fist, and blood gushing out. His face immediately showed a solemn expression. When they landed on a desert island, they quickly became alert. Hockey, you really are dangerous. Smoker gasped. ... Bonus didn't speak, but his eyes were not very friendly. Bonus thinks that this guy doesn't seem very smart. Marine should have received the news of defeating Aoli to the pirates. Aoli is a Logia swamp ability. If this side doesn't know how to defeat hockey. But this white guy didn't seem to know. Didn't he read the newspaper when he went out? Moreover, if it wasn't for the mercy of his subordinates, this guy's hands would already be gone. Thinking of this, Bonus felt somewhat helpless. The boss is so nice that he wants to show mercy to Marine subordinates, and he is a majestic West Blue killer, and he can't even kill people casually. Who should he reason with? But there is no way. Who let him follow such a boss? And the reason why he became stronger was also a gift from the boss, so I don't complain anymore. Jool Lyn greeted with a smile. Hey. This is Zephyr Admiral's excellent disciple, the smoker of the Logia smoke fruit ability user. Why is he so murderous? Who bullied Hina? Shut up, lousy, you fool. But Smoker roared angrily. Lousy must arrest you, a vicious guy today, avenge the lady who exploded, and give the common people of Cape Franchise a bright future. Oh, it seems that you are a simple guy. You can defeat my subordinates first. To be honest, Jool Lyn doesn't hate a character like Smoker. However, this guy is still a bit stupid now, and many things only look at the surface, but also because of this, Burr and Roman are easy to fool, otherwise it will be really troublesome if they are seen through. Smoker felt Jool Lyn's slight. But it is also rare to calm down, because the opponent can hockey, it will be more difficult to deal with. But Smoker is very confident in himself. As long as he doesn't get hit by hockey, he can still win with his fruit ability, and he can still arrest the two murderers. So, he pulled out the weapon 10 hands behind his back. Then turned into smoke again and pounced on Bonus. Bonus didn't care, and directly reached out to grasp the front of the 10 hands, but the next second he suddenly felt weak all over, and the fruit ability seemed to disappear instantly. Oh, by the way, Bonus, the front of the 10 hands is Seastone, be careful. Jool Lyn reminded at this time. Quote. Bonus was speechless. Boss, you should have said it earlier. Then, without any surprise, Bonus's body was entangled by the smoke vines, and was hit hard by the smoke fist, and blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. But Jool Lyn made sarcastic remarks from the side. I told you to be careful, don't underestimate anyone. Only then did Bonus take it seriously. Sure enough, what the boss said was right. This smoke boy was not his opponent of Bonus, but he was not something to be underestimated. It was precisely because he underestimated the other party that he was countered by the other party. Fortunately, the opponent's fist was not too strong, so he suffered a slight injury after this punch. No problem. Boom. Smoker smashed Bonus into the air with a full punch, and then rushed to Jool Lyn without hesitation, stabbing at Jool Lyn's chest with 10 hands. Seastone is indeed very domineering. A capable person will be in danger if he is wiped. But Jool Lyn still stood there, and when 10 hands was approaching, a sharp blade suddenly slashed at Smoker's wrist, forcing Smoker to withdraw his hand. I saw that Bonus, who was beaten into the air just now, came back again, and seemed to be a normal person. How can it be? Smoker is not calm anymore. He used the Seastone to restrain Bonus's fruit ability just now, and then punched down with all his strength. Bonus should have fallen, but why is it all right now? Bonus rarely said kindly, because of the difference in strength. Well, this is simply a mental attack. Because of the large gap in strength, your attack is ineffective against me. This is definitely a strong mockery for Smoker. With Smoker's arrogant personality cultivated by the fruit ability, how can he stand it? Sure enough, Smoker's eyes turned red immediately, and he went to kill Bonus again. But Bonus just responded casually, only needing to dodge the attack of 10 hands, so it wasn't a big problem. So Jool Lyn said, the warship is coming, I'll go to fight the flying squirrel vice admiral first. Bonnie, you play with this white snake first, but don't delay too long. After speaking, he jumped towards the warship, and there were several tempest kick slashes in the air. The flying squirrel immediately drew out the knife and smashed all the tempest kick slashes, then jumped up, and slashed at Jool Lyn with the long knife in his hand. However, Jool Lyn raised the fist wrapped around armament hockey and opened the long knife, kicked the flying squirrel in the chest, and kicked the flying squirrel away with great force. Boom! The flying squirrel slammed into the cabin of the warship. Flying squirrel vice admiral. All the sailors on the warship were stunned. In the eyes of many people, Flying Squirrel is a veteran vice admiral. Although he is not very old, his strength is undoubtedly strong. Back then, he followed Sengoku and Garp to New World to hunt down Roger and Golden Lion. But now he is being kicked away by this square boy, it's unbelievable. Jool Lyn didn't give these sailors any time to be surprised. He landed on the deck in the next second, and knocked several sailors unconscious by raising his hand. Swish! Suddenly 2 black iron fences blocked Jool Lyn's 2 sides. I saw Hina holding a thin cigarette, her hands turned into long iron fences, with a cold killing intent on her face, and immediately clasped her hands together in an attempt to trap Jool Lyn. But Jool Lyn pushed both hands to the sides, and actually knocked the iron fences on both sides into the air. Hina couldn't help but staggered. When Hina came back to her senses, she found that Jool Lyn had arrived in front of her, and her big hand was already grabbing her face. She was startled and closed her eyes subconsciously. After all, she is still a little girl, not as calm and sophisticated as she will be after more than 10 years. The next second, he felt the cigarette being ripped off from his mouth. The moment his fingers brushed against his pink lips, his eyelashes trembled uncontrollably, and his eyes immediately opened wide. I saw Jool Lyn throwing the cigarette butt into the sea, and said with a smile, "If you are so beautiful, don't smoke all the time, it will make you prone to wrinkles and irregular menstruation. I want you to manage." Hina felt that she was being molested, and immediately kicked angrily. However, he was easily caught by Jool Lyn, and then flung him to the cabin without mercy. Such a graceful pink-haired beauty is really a bit reluctant to let her go, but Jool Lyn knows that Hina has a strong personality, and if she is lenient, it will make Hina feel that she is underestimated. Because she is a beautiful woman, she can't do it. This is an insult to Hina. Jool Lyn didn't do this for the sake of gaining favor, it was just to show respect to a person with strong self-esteem. Seeing this, the other sailors took 2 steps back subconsciously. Even the Hina lieutenant commander and the flying squirrel vice admiral couldn't defeat this man, and ordinary sailors like them were just giving heads, and everyone would be afraid. Crash! Suddenly a person stood up in the smashed cabin. It was the flying squirrel. "Vice Admiral, the flying squirrel. Are you okay?" The sailors were extremely surprised. In the face of powerful enemies, one should not be timid, otherwise how will our marine protect civilians? But the flying squirrel scolded, rubbed his shoulders and walked to the deck. "It seems that I underestimated you. Your strength is really great, and hockey is also very skilled. If you don't take it seriously, you might kill me." Flying Squirrel felt that Sengoku was making a fuss out of a molehill before, but now he finally understands Sengoku's foresight. This square kid is not a good stubbler. If he doesn't take it seriously, he will be the one who loses in the end. In fact, the Flying Squirrel has never heard Garp's evaluation of Jool Lyn, otherwise it would not be so contemptuous of Jool Lyn, and the timely change of mind also proves that the Flying Squirrel is calm and rational. Crash! Hina also stood up from the cabin. "Hina, are you okay?" The Flying Squirrel stared at Jool Lyn and asked. "Hina is fine. Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral, be careful with this guy, he is very strong." Hina also put on a fighting pose. "Hina, I will come here myself, I don't need your help." "But, Smoker needs your help. Everyone else is going to help Smoker too. Only I can deal with this guy, no one is allowed to intervene." Hearing the words, Hina quickly looked towards the deserted island, only to see Smoker crazily dodging Bonus's attack in the form of smoke, obviously being crushed and beaten by Bonus, and looking very embarrassed. This is the first time Hina has seen Smoker like this. Looks like that West Blue killer is tough to deal with. Hina understands. Hina chose to obey, so she jumped to the desert island and rushed towards Bonus. Seeing this, Smoker immediately said stiffly, "Hina, I don't need your intervention here." Hina only said, "Mr. Smoker, this is an order from Mr. Vice Admiral, you should shut up." After speaking, he threw an iron fence over. But Bonus opened the iron fence with a knife, and immediately dropped Smoker and jumped towards Hina. The next second, he kicked Hina in the abdomen and kicked Hina into the air. This guy doesn't know how to pity and cherish Jade. Fortunately, Hina is not bad, and she stood up quickly again. But Bonus took the opportunity to rush towards the other sailors, knocking down 3 of them in the blink of an eye. Bonus didn't speak the whole time, but his inner activities were very rich. Can't kill, it's harder not to kill than to kill, so I'll consolidate observation hockey and practice shaving. It has to be said that Bonus knows how to use battles. On the warship side, the Flying Squirrel took a deep breath, held the knife tightly with both hands, and wrapped armament hockey around the knife. Seeing this, Jool Lyn was not polite, and immediately pulled out Sakura-ten and the dead wood from his waist, and used both hands to fight with the Flying Squirrel. Sure enough, Golden Lion's swordsmanship was extraordinary, and it didn't take long to beat the Flying Squirrel back. And the Flying Squirrel also showed surprise. These 2 knives are Golden Lion's Sakura-ten and Deadwood. Why is it in Cube Kid's hands? And Cube Kid's sword skills are exactly the same as Golden Lion. What is his relationship with the Golden Lion? There were doubts in my heart, but I didn't ask them face to face. When he followed Sengoku to hunt down the Golden Lion, he had naturally seen the Golden Lion's swordsmanship and was deeply impressed. Now he is no longer a rookie, and his swordsmanship has also grown, so he thinks that he will not be inferior to Cube Boy, so he puts up 200% of his energy and concentrates on using his swordsmanship. In less than a minute, the two exchanged no less than 100 moves. People in this world mostly take the fierce way, and pay attention to faster speed and greater strength when making swords, but their skills are much worse. But as the saying goes, one force can reduce 10 games, this kind of swordsmanship can become the mainstream and it has its advantages. This is one of the reasons why Shimotsuki Koshiro said that girls cannot become the #1 in the world. However, Jool Lyn's strength is still higher than that of the flying squirrel. So it didn't take long for the flying squirrel to feel strenuous. Not only was it being pushed back by Jool Lyn, but it was also being injured continuously. Who are you? Why are you so powerful? Flying Squirrel couldn't help asking after all. Hee, don't you guys know me? Jool Lyn chuckled. I'm Jool Lyn, the Cube Kid. I'm strong because I'm a genius. If you don't believe me, you can ask the old man Garp. The flying squirrel frowned, but did not continue to ask. I saw that he continued to squeeze his strength and launched a counterattack against Jool Lyn frantically. But Jool Lyn dealt with it very easily, and quickly suppressed the flying squirrel. At the same time, by fighting the flying squirrel, he constantly consolidated the memory of swordsmanship in his mind, making the swordsmanship more handy. But Bonus has quickly knocked down the sailors one by one, and it didn't take long before only Smoker and Hina were left. Smoker is still entangled in the form of smoke, while Hina cooperates with Smoker. The two often cooperate together, so the cooperation is very skillful. However, Bonus knows observation hockey, knowing every attack. The two couldn't hit him, but he could injure the two. Not long after, Smoker was knocked down by Mochin, and Hina was kicked away again, and the battle on the desert island ended immediately. Jool Lyn turned his head and glanced at Bonus. He didn't expect this guy to be very fast. Then he looked at Smoker and Hina, and he was relieved to make sure that they were not dead. It seemed that Bonus had listened to his words, and finally he didn't kill people indiscriminately. You still dare to be distracted from fighting with me, you really underestimate me. The flying squirrel was furious, and he slashed forward with all his strength, but Jool Lyn's eyes sharpened, and Hockey, who was on the top of Sakura in his hand, suddenly became fierce, and cut off the flying squirrel's knife with a single swing. Then he kicked the flying squirrel in the abdomen again, kicking the flying squirrel towards the cabin again. Flying upside down in midair, the flying squirrel couldn't help doubting life. Armed color outside, how did he learn such advanced hockey skills at such a young age? It shouldn't be. What is the relationship between him and Golden Lion? Then, he fell directly into the cabin and passed out. The battle was as easy as expected without any surprises or dangers. Jool Lyn jumped off the warship and walked up to Hina. In fact, only Hina was still awake, and the others, including Smoker, had completely passed out. Bonus stepped forward and said, "Boss, none of them were killed." Hina was surprised when she heard this, and turned her head to look at the fallen sailors, and found that the chests of each of them were still heaving, which meant that they were really not dead. But it shouldn't be. This square boy should be very vicious. The noble lady who was forced to do farm work was blown up on the spot, she could see clearly, that's why she was so angry. But now, this square kid doesn't seem to have any intention of killing any sailors. Why? Is there something wrong? So Hina couldn't help but asked, why? You obviously planted bombs in the bodies of those citizens and killed a disobedient woman, but now you want to pretend to spare us. Jool Lyn smiled. Hina, is what you saw real? You are a smart girl, think for yourself. After speaking, he manipulated the cube to lift himself and Bonus up. Bonus said, "Boss, don't you take this woman away as your wife." Jool Lyn spit on the spot, PFF'd. "Bonies, what nonsense are you talking about? I'm not a pirate. I don't do this kind of behavior of robbing women. Do I seem to be the kind of anxious person? No, I just think the boss seems to like this person." "Shut up, you. No one will treat you as dumb if you don't speak." Jool Lyn couldn't help rolling his eyes. This guy is usually serious, how could he have such an idea? Hina couldn't help but wince. fearing that she would be caught as a wife. If that's the case, she might as well commit suicide on the spot. Fortunately, Cube Boy has no such intention. It's just that I still feel a little uncomfortable in my heart. She is so beautiful and has a good figure. This square kid is so blind that he doesn't want to take her away. In short, I feel very conflicted. Jool Lyn warned at this time. Hina, send a message to Sengoku. The citizens of the kingdom of Cape Franch are now my hostages. As long as the hostages are obedient, I will not kill people casually. But if you dare to come make trouble, I don't mind doing it. Hina's expression froze, and she angrily said, those people are innocent, I don't allow you to do anything to them. Hehe, it doesn't matter what you said, let's take it back to Sengoku. Jool Lyn and Bonus flew away. Only the sailor was left in a daze, and Hina was holding her knees and her eyes were red. Not long after, the flying squirrel woke up, surprised that he was not killed, and quickly got off the warship. Seeing that the sailors on the deserted island were still breathing, he was relieved. Looks like Cube Kid is showing mercy. But no, isn't that guy a vicious executioner? The flying squirrel finally came to Hina's side. Seeing Hina with red eyes, and thinking of Hina's character, he suddenly understood something. So he said loudly, it's not terrible to lose, what's terrible is that you can't recover from it. Since you are so unwilling, then quickly become stronger, and then defeat the opponent. Hina immediately stood up and gave a military salute. Yes. Flying Squirrel Vice Admiral. And Smoker, who had already woken up, couldn't help clenching his fists when he heard the words. Next time, he won't lose again. Soon, Sengoku, who was sitting in Marineford, received the battle report and also learned what Hina had relayed, and was silent for a long time. Finally sighed. You guys come back first, it's useless to stay there. Flying Squirrel and the others clenched their fists unwillingly when they heard the words, but they dared not disobey the order. And they knew from the bottom of their hearts that it was really useless for them to stay here. Hanging up the phone bug, Sengoku looked at Garp who was eating senbei. You heard that too, that Cube Boy seems to be hiding very deep, I don't know if he has anything to do with that guy from Golden Lion. Garp frowned and said, it shouldn't be. When the old man fought with that kid last time, he didn't feel familiar. Moreover, the sword skills he showed before were not two-handed sword skills, and the way of sword skills has nothing to do with Golden Lion. Could it be that he is really that well hidden? Sengoku shook his head. He had never seen Jool Lyn with his own eyes, let alone fought with Jool Lyn, so he couldn't judge. But he believed what Garp said, and he also believed what the flying squirrel said, so Cube Kid must be hiding something. Moreover, there was a report before that a large number of islands fell in a certain sea area of the Grand Line. It was originally guessed what the Golden Lion wanted to plan, but now the Golden Lion's double knives and swordsmanship appeared on Cube Boy. This has to be guesswork. Like, Golden Lion turned into Cube Kid. Or, the Golden Lion was killed by the Cube Kid, and the sword skills were inherited by the Cube Kid. But think about it carefully, can this kind of thing really be done? Or is there someone in the dark who doesn't know who has used some devil fruit ability to do this? There is not enough information to make a judgment. As for what's wrong with Cape Franch, according to the report of the flying squirrel, maybe it's overthinking. Garp said again at this time, maybe we don't need to worry about Frank Capet for the time being. Since Cube Boy has said that he will not kill people casually, then as long as the citizens of that country are obedient, their lives will not be in danger. And if we attack again, maybe it will force Cube Boy to tear up his ticket. Sengoku nodded. Okay, we won't take action against him for now, but the reward order has to be increased. Now Jool Lyn's reward order has reached 100 million Baileys, and the reward in the underground world has reached 500 million Baileys. In addition, he still has the heavenly gold in his hand, which adds up to a huge sum of money. This has already tempted many people. If the reward is increased, I believe many people will not be able to sit still. For example, some long bug that likes to get drunk and fly around. Here, Jool Lyn and Bonus flew back to Cape Franch, and were immediately warmly welcomed by the people. Burr and Roman couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. As long as Jool Lyn is okay, the backbone of this country will still be there. Immediately afterwards, Cape Franch increased its development speed. First, strengthen the fortifications on all sides of the island, increase the training of recruits, speed up the infrastructure work of demolition and construction, and strive to complete the stabilization of the country in the fastest time. Jool Lyn knew that he would not stay in this country for too long, so he was in such a hurry. Drago also personally contacted to inquire about Jool Lyn's situation, and he was really relieved to learn that Jool Lyn was safe and sound, and successfully deceived Marine. Drago then provided the assembled intelligence to Jool Lyn. The first was Crocodile, who lost his left hand after being beaten by Whitebeard, and is now back in the first half of the Grand Line, looking set to put down roots in Alabasta. Then Marine stepped up his hunt for the Sun Pirates, seemingly obsessed with catching Fisher Tiger. Fisher Tiger, what year did he die? Jool Lyn frowned, not being able to remember many plots clearly, especially the year when the incident happened, because too many incidents would easily lead to confusion. But since Fisher Tiger is not dead yet, there is still a possibility of saving him. As the big brother of the Fishmen Island who is highly respected by Murlocs and mermaids, coupled with the tragic experience of being enslaved by celestial dragons, coupled with the heroic deeds of making troubles in Mariajoy and saving countless slaves, Fisher Tiger's existence is very special. If it can be won over, the Revolutionary Army will have a dazzling revolutionary light. So, can't let Fisher Tiger die. We must also win people over to the revolutionary cause. Thinking of this, Jool Lyn began to exhort, Dorag, keep an eye on Kizaru's ship. If there is no accident, Kizaru will definitely catch up with the Sun Pirates, and Fisher Tiger must be kept. Drago also solemnly said, okay, I will handle this matter myself. Dorag also knew the importance of Fisher Tiger. Leaving race aside, Fisher Tiger saved so many innocent slaves that Fisher Tiger had to be won over for that alone. His experience is an indictment of the celestial dragon's dominion over Honguo. He can light the beacon of revolution. Jool Lyn was relieved to hand over the matter to Drago, at least Drago's strength was reliable. However, Jool Lyn still felt that he should pay more attention to Fisher Tiger's information, and he would take action if necessary. But for now, it's better to think about how to take Crocodile first. Although Crocodile's plans for Alabasta will also give Jool Lyn a chance to take over Alabasta, but Jool Lyn does not plan to take action against Alabasta for the time being. Alabasta is too special. The royal family of this country is the only family that has not joined the Celestial Dragons. Therefore, there are many secrets involved, and it is easy to be noticed by 5 elders. It is not a wise choice to rashly attack Alabasta. However, this does not prevent Jool Lyn from targeting Crocodile. Logia sand fruit is a very good devil fruit, so Jool Lyn thinks it should be taken. Moreover, in order to prevent Crocodile from targeting Robin, Jool Lyn's shot became a matter of course. The news that Cube Boy repelled the Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral Flying Squirrel spread, and the fact that he captured the regime of Frank Capet, one of the Allied countries, could not be concealed. As a result, there was a lot of turmoil in the entire sea, and this matter was also widely spread. It is even more frightening that many countries hastened to strengthen their national defenses, and some franchise countries even asked Marine to go to guard in their own countries, lest some pirates learn from Cube Boy's behavior. However, Marine seemed to have no intention of managing Cube Boy anymore, and did not continue to encircle and suppress him, but only increased the bounty offered. Cube Kid Jool Lyn offers a bounty of 300 million berries, regardless of life or death. Daz Bonus, the West Blue Killer, has a bounty of 50 million Baileys, life or death. This kind of bounty plus the gold in the sky made many big pirates ready to move, but no one did it right away. In addition to not knowing the strength of Cube Boy, the most important reason is that the New World hegemony is coming to an end, and the status of Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido is about to be determined. Many want to witness the outcome of the final separatism of the Emperor of the New World. This also made Seahai and the first half of the Grand Line much safer. And when not many people noticed, the Don Quixote pirates successfully arrived in New World and headed for Dressrosa. Inside the pirate ship, Doflamingo bold and grandiose were sitting on chairs. On the table in front of them were the reward orders of Jool Lyn and Bonus and a newspaper, which published reports related to Jool Lyn. Hey. Well, it's really good. Doflamingo's forehead bulged with blue veins. You actually beat back the flying squirrels, seized power in a country, and even forced Marines to be wary of rats. You were really good, Cube Boy. For Jool Lyn, Doflamingo can be described as hated. Because of the appearance of Jool Lyn, the Don Quixote family suffered a heavy blow. Don't mention Virgo's exposure and Pika's death before, just say that the Tiantianjin was robbed, which caused a huge loss to the Don Quixote family. Originally, Doflamingo thought that as long as the news about Jool Lyn holding the gold in the sky was publicized, there would be many big pirates to deal with Jool Lyn, but he didn't expect that. Except for one Aoli to the pirate group, the other big pirate groups have not moved for the time being. This made Doflamingo very unhappy. Now that the Don Quixote family has entered the New World, they are planning to seize Dressrosa in advance, but because of the news about Jool Lyn, all countries have strengthened their national defenses, and Dressrosa is naturally included. This made the Don Quixote family's next move a lot more troublesome. It's all the Cube Boy's fault. Dover, are we going to shoot Dressrosa next? Toripole asked. Quote. Although we should be able to successfully complete the seizure of power with our strength, just in case we still do not move temporarily, let's wait for a while. Doflamingo finally decided to be cautious. Dover, you are still too careful, there is no powerful person in Dressrosa, we can easily take it down. Diamandi said. Baby, Diamandi, you are right, but if you are not afraid of 10,000, you should be more cautious. Doflamingo said so. Others will naturally not have any opinions. In the days that followed, the sea seemed to have really calmed down. Although there are still pirates entering the Grand Line, villages and towns are constantly being attacked, and there are conflicts between Marines and pirates, and between pirates, but overall there are no major events that attract much attention. Jool Lyn, on the other hand, seemed to be huddled in the Cape Franch and never left. Naturally, the Marine and the world government also sent people to monitor Franchise Cape, but the country is temporarily locked down, and outsiders are not allowed to enter. Marine didn't dare to approach rashly, lest Jool Lyn kill the hostages. In this way, it is extremely difficult to obtain information. And many pirates who have just entered the Grand Line also know the reputation of Cube Boy, so they dare not approach Cape Franchise. As for some ignorant pirates, they were bombarded by square shells as soon as they approached, and there was no possibility of surviving. Cape Franch is temporarily safe now. Taking advantage of this safe period, Jool Lyn and the people of the whole country will work together to make the country stronger quickly. Not to mention infrastructure and development, Jool Lyn is more concerned about national defense. He specially selected two talented and progressive little guys from the recruit, one named Ruby and the other named Parker, and then distributed 2 devil fruits to them. Ruby eats marsh fruit, while Puck eats dog fruit. As for lion fruit and golden fruit, keep them for now. Originally, the two stood out from the recruits, but now they have gained the power of devil fruit, and their strength has naturally improved to a higher level. And Jool Lyn also kept his promise to personally teach the 2 Marine 6 styles, so that the 2 quickly rose to the first echelon combat power of the country, and formed the Big 3 with Burr. In this way, Jool Lyn finally felt relieved a lot. This kind of combat power should be able to keep the country in the first half of the Grand Line, and Cape Franch, a small country, should not be targeted by any big shots. As long as the essence of the country is not revealed, nothing will happen. To be on the safe side, the country is still in a closed state for the time being, focusing on self-sufficiency first, no foreign trade for the time being, and no outsiders are welcome to enter. So Jool Lyn finally had time to focus on calculating the crocodile. In fact, Jool Lyn could actually kill Alabasta and kill Crocodile directly, but Jool Lyn did not choose to do so, but chose to continue to wait. Time came to Hyuanli 1510 without knowing it. This year seems to be the beginning of everything. A young boy bids farewell to the Red Hair Pirates in East Blue Windmill Village. Redhead Shanks laughed, "You'll be lonely by yourself when we're gone, Luffy." Little Luffy shook his head, "No way. And I don't want to go to sea with you, I will go to sea by myself in the future and become a pirate myself." The red-haired Shanks stuck out his tongue and mocked, "It's only because of a little guy like you that you can't become a pirate." "Yes, I can definitely," little Luffy said loudly. "One day, I will definitely find a group of partners who will not lose to you, and find the legendary secret treasure, and I will become the One Piece." Redhead Shanks was taken aback. "Want to overtake us?" Then he took off the straw hat on his head and put it on the head of little Luffy. "This is my most precious straw hat, I hope you cherish it. One day in the future, you must return the straw hat to me." When you become a real time for a good pirate. Little Luffy burst into tears immediately. The famous scene of giving away straw hats appeared, and the plot officially began. East Blue, Shimotsuki Village. In the darkness of night, a pair of boys and girls were facing each other with swords drawn. The green-haired Zoro took a stance with 2 knives in his hands, and suddenly attacked forward. Kuina, on the other hand, clenched the word Hidao with both hands, saw the gap and cut forward. This is the 2001st duel, a real knife duel. Zoro's current strength is already extraordinary, and his sword is fierce and domineering, like a storm. In comparison, Kuina is not superior in strength and speed, but he constantly responds with superb skills, always finding the right gap to burst out suddenly, and Zoro is caught off guard. After dozens of moves, Kuina saw Zoro's weakness, swung his saber suddenly, and immediately swept Zoro's double sabers away. Zoro was thrown to the ground by the huge explosive force, but Kuina took the opportunity to bully him and stabbed Zoro's ear with a knife, making Zoro tremble uncontrollably. I saw tears in Zoro's eyes, not because he was frightened, but because he was very unwilling. 0 wins and 2001 losses. He lost again. Zoro, you've become powerful again. Kuina retracted the knife, panting heavily. What are you talking about? I can't beat you yet, so what a power. Zoro couldn't help roaring. Hee, but you have already caught up. Kuina said, pressing her chest subconsciously, I am starting to grow up now, and the characteristics of women are also beginning to grow, and I will have 2 more troublesome flesh in the future. Moreover, women's strength and speed seem to be inherently inferior to men, yours sooner or later the strength will surpass mine. Having said that, Kuina is not as sad as the original. Instead, it sounded like a joke. Zoro blushed slightly, but scolded, you are a winner, what are you talking about? If you give up on yourself, then I, who failed, would be like a fool. As he spoke, the tears couldn't hold back. He didn't know why he was crying, as if he was unwilling, but also as if he was not worth it for Kuina. But Kuina smiled, you idiot, do you think I'm giving up on myself? I'm just stating what Jool Lyn said. Zoro froze suddenly, what about Jool Lyn? Yes, did you forget what Jool Lyn said when we said goodbye? He warned me that one day I will feel that women are not as powerful as men. Let me not be depressed because there are many ways to make up for my weakness in the sea. Ah, I remembered that too. Jool Lyn told you not to put the whetstone in the attic. Don't you remember it clearly? Kuina smiled even wider. If it wasn't for Jool Lyn's warning, I'm afraid I'd be really depressed. I'm afraid I'd lose to Zoro, you crybaby. Zoro was super upset. Why did I cry? I didn't cry. He, I won't tease you. But Zoro, I may eat devil fruit in the future to make up for my weakness, so don't think I'm cheating. I don't care what you eat, I will beat you one day. Really, Zoro, you are too arrogant, I will be the world's #1 swordsman in the future. HMPH, it should be me who will become the world's #1 swordsman. Kuina, let's make an agreement. In the future, between the 2 of us, one of us will become the world's #1 swordsman. The green-haired boy stretched out his hand to the girl with a fighting spirit on his face, and the girl naturally held out her hand confidently. Zoro wants to defeat her, 10,000 years too soon. In the dim night, Kuina returned home, thinking that he should take good care of it after using Hidao tonight. Just as I was about to step up the attic stairs, Jool Lyn's words flashed in my mind, your attic is too high and has been in disrepair for a long time. Don't put the whetstone there, it will be very dangerous. Kuina didn't understand at the time, but still listened to what Jool Lyn said, and put the whetstone in the room. But the maintenance tools are still in the attic, does she want to go up? Kuina hesitated, she seemed to sense something in the dark, she felt as if she was hovering on the death line, and she was suddenly taken aback. Fortunately, Shimotsuki Koshiro came at this time. Kuina, are you still up so late? Kuina hurriedly said, Dad, I just used Hidao, so I want to maintain it. But when I think of Jool Lyn's words, I always feel that something is wrong in the attic, so I dare not go up to get maintenance tools. Shimotsuki Koshiro was taken aback, and took a deep look at the attic. It stands to reason that Kuina, as a swordsman, shouldn't be so timid, but swordsmen sometimes have instincts, and they can sense danger in the dark. As a father, naturally he cannot let his daughter take risks. Sashimotsuki Koshiro stepped directly towards the stairs. In this case, let Dad help you, and don't put things in the attic in the future. The attic is not high, and it takes only a few steps to reach the top. Shimotsuki Koshiro quickly got the maintenance tools, and before he could breathe a sigh of relief, there was a sudden click under his feet, and he fell backwards unsteadily. Dad, be careful, Kuina shouted anxiously. Don't worry, Dad will be fine. As Shimotsuki Koshiro said, he suddenly kicked on the wall next to him, using his strength to turn over and land firmly, but he couldn't help being afraid in his heart. Fortunately, he went to the attic. If it was Kuina, it would be really dangerous. Although Kuina's swordsmanship has surpassed that of many adults, she is still a weak girl. Not only is her strength much weaker, but her physique is not strong either. If you fall, you will be seriously injured if you don't die. And with Kuina's previous habit, she would often take a knife to the attic to get a whetstone. One sharp weapon and one blunt weapon, if one of them hurts you during a fall, you might die. Kuina, we have to thank Mr. Jool Lyn for his reminder. When you grow up, go to the sea to meet him. Remember to thank him on behalf of your father. Shimotsuki Koshiro rarely spoke solemnly. I see, Dad, Kuina quickly responded. When Kuina returned to the room with the maintenance tools, she still couldn't help but be terrified. If she had gone up to the attic before, I'm afraid it would be really dangerous. It seems that I really have to thank Jool Lyn. Thinking in my heart, I took out the nearest newspaper and looked at it while maintaining the words of He Dao Yi. In the newspaper, a handsome man with 2 knives was fighting a marine. Do you even know swordsmanship? Kuina murmured, you are such a powerful swordsman, but when you met you seemed to know nothing about swordsmanship. Is this deliberately concealing it? Poor Zoro also said that he will teach you swordsmanship in the future, but he is not as good as you 1 in a billion. However, if I want to become the world's #1 swordsman in the future, I will also defeat you, so you have to make up your mind. It's just that there is a fighting spirit, but now the gap with Jool Lyn is so big, can he really catch up? Looks like it's time to inquire about Devil Fruit. This year, the Moria Pirates took on Wano. Kaido saw how brave Moria was, so he brought his own pirate group to fight Moria, which attracted the attention of the whole world for a while. And the Red Hair Pirates went to the cave of Upside Down Mountain again and returned to the Grand Line. And this time the purpose is very clear, it is really going straight to New World. It seems that they want to participate in the final hegemony, and it seems that New World is going to be lively again. At this time, Garp abruptly asked for a leave from Sengoku. Then he went back to Windmill Village and took his grandson Luffy to the mountain to find Bandit Dayton, intending to introduce Luffy to his other grandson Ace. After several deliberations, Sengoku decided to wait and see. Last time Marine wanted to make a profit, but almost got nothing. This time is also unclear, so don't act rashly. If Marine doesn't move, the pirates will be even crazier. Many people are waiting for the results of the battle between the Beasts Pirates and the Moria Pirates, and they are also waiting for the Red Hair Pirates to enter the New World, waiting for the chaos to happen. Only the more chaotic, the group has a chance to fill the fish with water. However, some people felt that they were quitting, and planned to return to the paradise in the first half, and put their ideas on Jool Lyn. But Jool Lyn is no longer in Cape Franch. He had flown quietly to the port city of Canola in Alabasta with Bonus and was now wandering the streets in a white cloak. The sun is so strong in this desert kingdom that many people wear white cloaks to protect themselves from the heat. Therefore, the appearance of Jool Lyn and Bonus did not look abrupt, and they also smoothly covered their appearance, avoiding the possibility of exposure. The two had just come out of the black market. Originally Jool Lyn wanted to buy information on the black market, but he didn't expect that there was no news about Baroque works. It seems that Crocodile hasn't started to form this mysterious organization yet. Combined with the information that Crocodile opened a casino in the rain, Crocodile should not have enough money. After all, it takes money to form a force, not to mention that Crocodile has great ambitions, and he definitely wants to form a huge force. Therefore, the money needed will not be small. So opening a casino is a good idea. Crocodile should choose to take root in the rainy land temporarily, and occasionally help the common people fight a dozen troublesome pirates. While gaining fame, he can also steal the money of those pirates, which can be said to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But Jool Lyn is obviously not very satisfied with this. Crocodile's work efficiency is not very high, even the Baroque Work Club has not yet been established, no wonder it waited so many years to start action. Originally, Jool Lyn wanted to wait for Crocodile to set up the Baroque workshop before harvesting devil fruit. For example, Mr. 2's clone fruit, Mr. 3's wax fruit, Mr. 5's explosive fruit, Mrs. Thorny fruit on both fingers, Miss Christmas mole fruit, and Miss Valentine's light lion fruit, etc. It is a very good devil fruit. With so many devil fruits, how could Jool Lyn not be moved? This is also the main reason why Jool Lyn has not directly dealt with Crocodile. But I didn't expect that Crocodile was so slow. It would take years and months to wait for all these cadres to gather. Isn't this a waste of time? Still looking for Pluton. Want to get revenge on Whitebeard for that. When you find Pluton, Whitebeard will die of old age, avenge the wool. Obviously, Jool Lyn was very displeased with Crocodile, so he decided not to wait any longer, but to grab Crocodile's sand fruit first. So the two first took a boat across the river to Elmaru, where they bought 2 camels and headed towards the rainy land in the north. It is indeed faster to fly on the cube, but in order not to be discovered, it is better not to use the fruit ability. The yellow sand is long, and the camels carry the 2 people forward slowly. Jool Lyn was not in a hurry, silently admiring the desert scenery, and couldn't help but think of the prototype of Alabasta. If it is really like the prototype, will there be a lot of oil underground? As soon as this idea came up, Jool Lyn couldn't help but want to explore it. So during the break, Jool Lyn began to dig holes with his fruit ability under Bonus's suspicious eyes. To be precise, it should be digging a well. Jool Lyn doesn't know if there will be oil in the ground where he is, but he just wants to try to dig to see if it doesn't take much effort anyway. What if he is lucky enough to dig it? The thickness of the sand is not deep, and Jool Lyn quickly dug into the bedrock. Then keep digging down. He didn't know how deep he dug, but Jool Lyn suddenly smelled a pungent smell, and he was overjoyed. In the next second, a stream of black liquid broke through the ground directly, and the huge force rushed Jool Lyn directly into the sky. Persia, who was watching in the well, was also covered in black. Unexpectedly, it was a direct blowout. It seems that there is indeed oil, and the reserves are definitely not bad. Jool Lyn quickly backfilled the well to prevent the oil from continuing to spray out. In addition, the sprayed oil was turned into cubes, and then directly decomposed, and successfully divided into gasoline cubes, diesel cubes and other cubes. Petroleum crude oil can be refined into many things. The most important ones are gasoline and diesel. This is one of the most important sources of energy for modern industry. Modern warfare is an energy war, fighting for energy and for energy, in which oil occupies a pivotal position. However, the energy direction of pirate world seems to be a bit biased. Think carefully about the use of energy. Sailing ships use wind energy, sea trains should use coal, pacifists seem to use electricity, and Frankie uses it even more outrageously. Coke. And about the application of oil, there seems to be none at all. It stands to reason that it should be impossible not to discover the existence of oil, but simply not to use it. If so, then you might as well give it a try. Boss, you seem, well, happy. Bonus, who was dressed in black, said to the embarrassed Jool Lyn. Hee, Bonies, do you know what this is? Jool Lyn asked with a smile. Black oil. Is it called black oil? What is this black oil used for? I don't know very well. It seems that someone used it as fuel, but not many people used it. It is said that black oil will also emerge from the surface of some sea areas, and then be ignited by lightning, forming a sea of flames, which is very spectacular. That's it, I see. Jool Lyn didn't tell Bonus what was in his heart. Seeing that Jool Lyn didn't intend to say more, Bonus stopped asking. As an excellent thug, he didn't need to ask questions. But Jool Lyn is thinking about how to use oil. First of all, it is natural to get a group of capable scientists to figure out the crude oil refining technology. After that is the use of gasoline and diesel. You can start with the shipbuilding industry. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.